CBS. Heavy rains which have engulfed the Knoxville area overnight in no way diminished the enthusiasm during the ball walk, nor the pensive attitude inside the Tennessee locker room. And inside Neyland Stadium, more than 107,000 roar their approval as the Volunteers come on the field. Florida Gators as well have come to Knoxville. This one ought to be terrific. It's the Florida Gators and the Tennessee Volunteers in SEC football. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Todd Blackledge and Jill Arrington. There are certain games on the football calendar every fall that shout out and insist you pay undivided attention. This one is on anybody's short list. It's Florida against Tennessee, a game that has had both conference and national ramifications for the past decade. The Gators owned the Volunteers early in the 90s, but the last 4 games have been split. No encounter divided by any more than 4 points. We expect no less today. But this game will be remembered also by the absence, Todd, of a singular personality, a guy named Spurrier.
And I got to admit, it feels different. You know, no pregame quips from Spurrier. They're learning new systems at Florida on both sides of the ball. They come in with a loss for the first time since '91 in this game, and without the swagger that we're used to. And part of the problem for Florida, 2 fundamental problems. The first, stopping the run. 2 weeks ago, Miami killed them on this power play. They block down on the tight end side, kick out with the fullback, lead through with the backside guard. Miami gained over 300 yards rushing, and most of it this power stuff in between the tackles. Bad news for the Gators, this play is one of Tennessee's signature running plays. They'll be tested again physically in this ballgame. Problem number 2, pass protection. Last week against Ohio, here's a play they had 8 guys in protecting against only 5 rushers. Look at this, 1 guy on 1, 4 Gators taking 1 guy, 3 on 1, and nobody blocks the guy that's coming free on Rex Grossman. This shouldn't happen. Here's another play, 7 Florida blockers, 5 rushers. Again, somebody turned loose. Rex Grossman was the most efficient quarterback in the country last year. He's struggling in the first 3 games this year, but he needs some help up front. They've got to communicate and protect him much better.
Well, if there is such a thing as a disappointing 2-1, that's the state of Florida right now. Tennessee undefeated, untested so far, and good news for the Volunteers. They have Kelly Washington back today.
He's one of the biggest difference makers in all of college football. You know, Tim Brando likes to refer to himself as the mouth of the South. He's got to run for his money with Kelly Washington. This guy loves to chatter, but he can make plays. Big and strong, 6'4", 225 pounds, but what makes him special, he's got the body of a big guy, but the body control and movement of a little wide receiver. Watch Tennessee get him the ball often and early in this one.
Well, this game, as all games, brought to you in HD TV. Soggy skies, but in no way has that diminished the enthusiasm of this crowd. Temperature, 74 degrees. The humidity at 93%. Well, the forecast overnight was for 90% chance of rain. They haven't missed it. It's been raining heavily since about midnight last night. Tennessee won the toss. They declined. They will take the option in the second half. Florida will return the opening kickoff, and Philip Newman, who kicked off last week for the first time, he's a transfer from Georgia Tech. This Faison is one of the 2 deep men along with Rand Carthon. Carthon a yard deep. Nice open field play. Tackle is made by the running back, Derek Tinsley. And let's check in with the 3rd member of our commentary team. Here's Jill Arrington.
Well, Vern, Tennessee comes into this game with the attitude of unfinished business. After beating the Gators in the swamp last year, they came within a quarter of a chance to play for the national championship game, but lost to LSU, and they have not forgot that game. They went into spring practice making these T-shirts stating their motivation, unfinished business, and let me tell you, that business starts today.
Indeed it does, Jill. And it begins with a fine open field tackle by Derek Tinsley. Rex Grossman and the Gators at their own 9-yard line. Grossman to throw on first down, goes deep left side, and he overthrows Taylor Jacobs. He did have protection. Willie Miles was defending for Tennessee. Grossman, a career completion percentage of 62, just above 50 this year in a sputtering start. 17-4 record as a starter. 55 of those touchdown passes came in his first 2 seasons. Only 3 matched up against 4 interceptions this year. 2nd and 10. Blitz. Across the middle it goes to the tight end. And the catch made at the 15-yard line. Let's check the Alamo offense now for Rex Grossman and the Florida Gators. The right side has been the problem. And it's Jorgensen and Cologne who will start there today. They have yielded to pressure. The backs and receivers, Graham, Burnell Brown, Jacobs, Perez. The tight end is Aaron Walker.
Shows you the confidence Ron Zook has in his quarterback Grossman. Deep in their own territory. No backs and shotgun early.
Grossman delivers. Perez for the first down at the 21-yard line. And let's check this Tennessee defense. It is very, very fast. Don't know what effect the soggy ground will have today. Up front, it's Han, Moore, Veal, and Carlton Neal, who plays in place of Constantine Richmond. Kevin Simon, second start today. He's had a terrific game last week. Miles, Baker, Battle, and Greer. The secondary might be the strength of this defensive unit.
Very good cover, guys. Time to get Ernest Graham in the game now for Florida. Get him a touch on the football.
And they do as instructed. Graham for 2. Out to the 23. Rashad Moore makes the tackle.
So far, just the early feel is that the Florida offensive line is a little bit more about their business today. The first couple passes, good pass protection. Philip Fulmer, I mean, he told us when we visited, he said, you know, this team they're not executing right now. They're going to get good. We just hope they don't get well against us. And that's kind of been the overriding thought of all the Tennessee coaches this week.
No gain. Graham on the last play at 2nd down and 10. And Grossman will throw. Blitz again. And Grossman scrambles. The pressure got there. Carlton Veal. Eddie Moore, one of the tri-captains for the Volunteers. And Ron Zook, first year as a successor to Steve Spurrier. Everything was bright and shiny when they defeated UAB. But they got shellacked by Miami 41-16. Did not look all that effective despite the score in the win against Ohio last week. 3rd and 13.
This is a situation, even with a veteran quarterback, you want to try to avoid on the road. 3rd and more than 10. And Rex Grossman, who's thrown 4 interceptions already, needs to be careful with the football here.
Volunteers 3 down. They will bring 5. Unimpeded Julian Battle. Grossman gets away, delivers it. And the pass is caught by Matt Jackson, I believe. It's Taylor Jacobs at the 33-yard line.
Nice bit of work by Rex Grossman. Julian Battle is going to come on the blitz free. He's going to come underneath on a stunt, and nobody picks him up. Again, that's been a problem with Florida. They've got enough guys in there to block, but they're turning guys loose on stunts. But Grossman keeps his head, keeps his wits, and finds his favorite receiver for the first down.
Taylor Jacobs, a quiet couple of games, it's setting a Florida receiving yards in a game record in the opener. 246 yards on 8 catches.
This 3-man defensive front is the front Tennessee likes to pressure out of.
Graham comes left, stiff arm on Battle, picks up an extra 2 yards. Knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
You know, it was interesting listening to some of the Tennessee defenders talking about Ernest Graham. One of the things they said is he's got a tremendous stiff arm. And we saw a little one right there. He really does have a great stiff arm. And he was able to get about 4 or 5 more yards on that play just by using that.
2nd down 5. Opening drive of the ball game. Florida took the kickoff out to the 9-yard line. They've now moved to the 39. And it's 2nd down and 5. Graham flips it out Graham drops the flip out from Grossman. Incomplete. 3rd down. Ernest Graham missed the game against these Volunteers because of an injured ankle last December. Darnell Dockett of Florida State given a lot of credit for deliberately twisting his ankle. Or blame, not credit. And of course, The Gators lost. They only lost twice last year. Both times Graham was out.
Again, here's the pressure look for Tennessee. 3 down linemen, linebackers and safeties moving around.
And again, they bring 5, and the flag was drawn before the snap.
They have a dead ball foul, false start. Get the offense, movement in the offensive line prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
He's speaking in echo chamber.
Take a look at the numbers of Rex Grossman after 3 games. Now, granted, there was no Miami or a team that caliber last year in there, but 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions compared to 3 and 4. And again, they're learning a new offensive system. I don't care how talented you are, it's still a lot of new learning going on for him and everyone else.
Officially 3rd and 10. Blitz coming again. Grossman popped. It's deflected and incomplete. Rashad Baker could not quite contain it. It will be 4th down, and Rex Grossman, who is as tough as they come, took a shot to the shoulders on that one.
They challenged the right side. Watch over here. This is where the pressure's going to come. It opens up. Here comes Robert Peace all alone. Gets a clean hit on the quarterback, and Rex made a good throw under pressure. That's a catch that Jacobs has to make. Almost intercepted, but should have been a completion.
Florida, with punting problems, changed their punter last game out. So this the 2nd effort now for Sean Morton.
Well, that's slow, too. That is a slow get off.
And Rashad Baker on his giddy up. Fumble. And a scramble, I believe. Tennessee got it. And 107,000 breathe a little easier.
Yeah. Pretty good coverage. He's not wrapping up the football. The Gators getting to it and almost come up with a big play early.
Volunteer with the football for the first time. They've got a 1st down just outside their own 30-yard line.
I wouldn't be surprised, even though everybody's expecting Tennessee to run, to see him go deep on a first play of the game. Try to just send a message with a deep pass.
Leonard Scott is wide to the left. And they come out of the backfield to the fullback, Troy Fleming. A nice open field tackle by Kewan Ratliff, number 1. Casey Clausen, the cool kid from California, Northridge, California, in his junior season. At 6'4", 215 pounds. For the career, he is averaging 65% completion, 74% this year.
He's seeing the field so much better this year, and watching him on film, it's probably been a blessing in disguise not having Kelly Washington, because he's had to spread the ball around and see the whole field, and he's done a really nice job in the first 2 games.
2nd down and 9. Victor McClure in as a 2nd tight end. He's tight to the left. That's Jason Witten in motion, who provides the blocking help as Fleming, the only setback, picks up a couple to the 33-yard line. Let's check this Tennessee offense. Offensive line. Munoz is back after a redshirt season because of an injury. Herrera, Wells Smith, and Offenhuzel, Cedric Houston, Troy Fleming in the backfield, Washington and Tony Brown. Although Leonard Scott has been in on the first 2 plays, and Jason Witten is the tight end.
Well, that 2nd down play, Florida had press man-to-man and had 8 guys in the box, and Tennessee still ran. If they get a steady diet of that, Casey Clausen's going to audible to throw the football.
They will spread 4 on 3rd down, one of whom is the tight end Jason Witten. He is wide to the right. Here's Clausen with time across the middle. Kelly Washington. 1st down, 1st catch of the season for the sophomore 23-year-old, who in this game last year caught only 1 for 13 yards, and he is welcomed back.
He's gotten much better at reading defenses and running more precise routes, and then you just see the body mismatch. I mean, Cromartie is a good cover guy, but only 5'8", 190 pounds, and Kelly's 6'4", 225, and doesn't stop talking from the start of the game to the finish.
A well-chiseled 225. 1st down and 10 to pick up the 13. Here's Clausen, lobs it out. Fleming couldn't hang on. Todd McCullough, the linebacker, might have messed that up. Let's check the defensive lineup now. Boy, have they been susceptible to the run in the first 3 games. Kendo Johnson, Scott LeFevre, and Mitchell up front. Big change in the middle, where Bam Hardman starts his 2nd game. Todd McCullough his 2nd on the outside. And the secondary, Cromartie, Todd Johnson, Gus Scott, and Kewan Rattler. Here's Bam Hardman, replaced Matt Ferrier prior to the start of the Ohio game last week. Reed Fleming also had gotten some play at middle linebacker, but they were ineffective. 3 men down for Florida. They're going to bring 5. There's pressure on Clausen, and he will run. Casey Clausen. It's sometimes not very pretty, but sometimes very effective.
That's all you need from him. I mean, you don't need him to be a sprinter. You don't need him to run the option. Just if everything breaks down and they leave you a lane, find a way to get the first down. And he does a nice job. Again, his decision making. The more he plays, the better his decision making gets. He knew what he needed for the first down, got it, and then went down to the ground.
Casey Clausen, the Volunteers now with 3rd and 2.
I thought he got enough for the first down, but he didn't.
Now they'll operate with 2 tight ends and the backs in the I formation. It's Houston and Jabari Davis. Davis will provide the blocking help, and Cedric Houston squirts through right tackle. The block of Herrera and Offenhuzel on that right side. That's a first down and 10. Bam Hardman made the tackle. Well, this Florida team has, look at this. That's almost unbelievable how many yards per game they've given up.
Well, you say, well, they gave up 300 in one game to Miami, but they also gave up over 100 to both UAB and to Ohio University. And Ohio University out of the MAC, no throwing, just option. And John Thompson, defensive coordinator right there, putting in the new system. And again, they're going to get it. They're going to be effective once they get it down, but a little slow right now.
Jabari Davis moves to tailback on this first down play and picks up yardage inside the 40. Well, let's go back to our New York studios and check in with Jim Brenda.
Vernon Todd, we're told Maurice Clarett did not dress for Ohio State today, but Gino Godelli did. Godelli finding a wide-open Ty Keith down to the 1-yard line to set up a DeMarco McCluskey touchdown. Extra point missed. The Bearcats up 6 at Paul Brown Stadium against the Buckeyes. Vern?
All right, Todd, thank you. Todd, listen to me. Tim Todd. 2nd down. Washington a handoff to Fleming. Troy Fleming was a high school running back, a tailback, moved to fullback last year for these Volunteers. Says he would like to go back to tailback, but they've got so many at that position. He's probably going to block more than he runs.
Well, he's an effective guy in this offense from the fullback position because he's a pretty good blocker. He's an excellent receiver out of the backfield, and he also has good running skill when they do give him the football.
That brings up a 3rd and 5. 9th play of this drive that followed a punt from Florida. No score, and we are midway through the first quarter at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Washington starts in motion, pulls up. Here's Clausen. Good protection. Nope. Breaks down. They got him. Shovels it out left side for Fleming. And Casey Clausen with real patience and some courage.
Yeah. Well, Clint Mitchell, it's only a 4-man rush, and he does a nice job of beating Michael Munoz along the left side. He's going to come from over here and chase Clausen all the way down. He actually gets by Fleming, and Clausen alertly finds an outlet receiver in Troy Fleming.
Now Tennessee is looking at a 4th and 3. If they decide the field goal, it's going to be from 52 yards away. We'll have their decision in a moment. 6:41 to go in the first quarter of play. 4th and 3 Volunteers. They are at the 35 of Florida. Alex Wall's career-long field goal is 51. He would have attempted this from 52. So instead, Tennessee's going to go for the first down.
Keep an eye on big Jason Witten, the tight end right here. He's a big target. Probably be up against a much smaller guy in this play.
He has caught 7 this year. On 4th down, stunts. Clausen over the middle. Got it. Complete to Kelly Washington. Inside the 30. Philip Fulmer gives his nod of approval.
Jason Witten's a big guy, but so is Kelly Washington. And again, they get the matchup on Cromartie, a much smaller corner. And when you only need that much, I mean, you can just throw it low. He doesn't have to run after the catch. Just catch it and get the first down. Philip Fulmer feels so much more comfortable with Casey Clausen. They're giving him packages at the line of scrimmage, and he can call the game at the line of scrimmage much more. A little early movement that time by the backup tight end, Victor McClure. I think that's Victor's first play in the game.
If a dead ball foul, false start against the offense.
Well, if you think Victor McClure looks like an offensive guard or tackle, you are correct. He's just moved out there. He totes a cool 300 pounds on that frame.
It was funny. Randy Sanders says he's a really good athlete for an offensive guard. He's not the most athletic tight end, but they needed another blocking guy. Their third tight end, Aaron Kirkland, is a true freshman, and they weren't quite ready to count on him to be the backup.
Bam Hardman, middle linebacker, second week in a row. He was a starter on the weak side. Had one of the big plays in the loss to Miami. Returned a Ken Dorsey interception for 26 yards in the TD. Played pretty effectively last week.
Yes, he did. And it was an option offense, much different than what they're going to see today. More power football in between the tackles, the way Miami attacked.
On 1st and 15, Clausen flush to his left. Pulls up, he'll run for the second time. Scrambling Casey Clausen down to the 27-yard line. Well, Casey Clausen, it's inevitable for any quarterback who follows Peyton Manning that comparisons will be made, and he measures up pretty well.
He sure does. Better than people would probably think. But just about straight down the board. Everything looks very similar. 19 interceptions compared to only 10 for Peyton through those first 22 starts. But same kind of winning percentage, and the leadership is starting to really take hold with Casey Clausen as well.
2nd down and 10. He got 5 on the last carry, his second of the ball game. We'll go from the spread formation. Florida with 3 down, brings 5. There's the quick screen, left side. Jabari Davis has some room and rumbles down to the 10-yard line.
Really nice play call by Randy Sanders, and the thing that Jabari Davis did is watch his patience. Number 34, when he gets it, he'll wait until the blocks are set, and then he just hesitates a little. Good blocks by Chavis Smith and Scott Wells, and Jabari Davis, the patience. Allow those blocks to take place. There's Herrera downfield leading on the play. Very well executed screen by the Tennessee offense.
And it's a 1st down and 10 just outside the 10-yard line, so they can pick up the 1st down without getting the touchdown. Motion to the left side, Aaron Kirkland, the 3rd tight end, and Witten, and they took too long.
Yeah, didn't get it off, and that's a tough penalty for Tennessee. They've got momentum. They've got the Florida defense on their heels a little bit, and what he's saying right now, we got to get this play. We got to pick up the tempo, get the plays in a little faster. There's Randy Sanders, offensive coordinator. Really, he's a guy who's gotten more and more comfortable in his role as well.
And he talked about the ease with which Casey Clausen, this may be a wrong time to talk about this, having just taken the delay, but Casey Clausen so much more comfortable in running this offense. Used to emulate a 16-year-old driving a car with both hands on the wheel, and he would operate it defensively. Now much more at ease in the cockpit or behind the wheel. Here's Fleming up the middle. Nothing there. It'll be 2nd down and 15. And while we've got a second or two, let's go back to New York. Here's Tim Brandon.
Vern, that Notre Dame offense, it's a juggernaut. After a nice trick play, Arnaz battled to Carlisle Holiday on a pass back. It's Ryan Grant culminating an 80-yard drive, and the Irish lead the Spartans 7-0, trying to end a 5-game losing streak against them.
All right, Tim, thank you. And of course, Michigan State shellacked last week by California.
Last week in the game against Ohio in the 2nd quarter, the Bobcats had a 9-minute drive. They got a field goal out of it. 20 plays, took up 9 minutes. Right now, Tennessee working on just over 7.5 minutes on this drive.
Here's Clausen back, gets a block on the left. Fleming with the catch out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Well, Phil Fulmer, of course, a graduate of Tennessee in '72. 38-9, a gaudy record against every SEC Eastern team except Florida. And of course, those 7 losses came to Steve Spurrier. Philip, it was really fun talking with him yesterday. So what's the biggest difference? He said, well, it's a little less annoying.
Didn't have to worry about what was going to be said or how he was going to have to respond or any of that stuff.
You know, there's such contrasting personalities, as is Ron Zook and Philip Fulmer. It's interesting that he does admit it got under his skin. Here comes the Florida rush. Clausen lobs it across the middle. Fleming. He's going to be caught and dropped Nice defensive play by Florida at the 10-yard line.
Good defensive stand by Florida. They gave up some yards. They gave up some time off the clock, but they came up with 3 good plays in a row there and forced Tennessee to settle for a field goal. That's a bend but don't break defense right there.
4th down, and the field goal unit is on. Alex Walls pulled a quadricep muscle in warm-ups last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, in the win over Middle Tennessee, so he sat out that game.
And you just wonder, I mean, I think he's okay, but you know, kickers are can be a little bit fragile psychologically with the wet field and the rain. You just wonder if that's in the back of his head at all on this one right now.
Well, perfect 4 for 4 this year. Here's Walls. Got it blocked. Got it blocked. So this lengthy drive comes to an unsuccessful end, and that arouses the emotion of first-year head coach Ron Zook.
Ian Scott on the inside, the starting nose tackle, is the guy who's going to come up on the inside and get a hand on that field goal. Ron Zook, a former special teams coach. Here he is right here, number 99. Watch him push the pile. They come over the top, and he gets his hand, and that kick was low. For a 27-yard field goal attempt, that was a pretty low kick.
And Ian Scott got a hand, whether inadvertent or not, to the helmet. And here's Philip Fulmer reacting on the sidelines. Ron Zook was the special teams coordinator in 94 and 95 at Florida. During those 2 years, his teams blocked 12 kicks. Here's the handoff. Left side. Ingle Martin, who is the backup quarterback. You know,
it's a little
you study and you study and you talk and you talk.
Yeah, I think Ron Zook and Ed Zonbrecker may have watched Penn State play last week. That's the same kind of play that Penn State did with their backup quarterback.
And you say to the coaching staff, you got anything in your pocket that you might surprise us with? Nah, not a thing. Ingle Martin, the quarterback. Here's Grossman. This is no surprise. It's Ernest Graham. Now the NFL tomorrow on CBS. Regional action. Jets Miami. Games at New England, Tennessee, and Houston. Late games in Denver and Arizona. That's the NFL on CBS, and it all begins with the NFL today at noon Eastern time tomorrow.
We talked about the right side of this Florida offensive line having problems. That play, Jonathan Colon, the right tackle, was just manhandled by Omari Hand, the defensive end, and no gain on that running play.
That has been an area of susceptibility for the Florida Gators. 3rd and 4, rain starts again. Grossman blocked by his tight end. There was pressure from Eddie Moore, the linebacker, but I think he should have had that.
Well, I think the ball was a little bit behind him, and Eddie Moore is able to get a little bit on the football. But again, Rex Grossman is going to be under pressure a lot. 5-man rush, makes the throw. I think the ball was a little bit behind Walker. You see, he had to reach back for it, and that allowed Eddie Moore to get a hand on the football.
And that brings on Sean Morton for the 2nd punt of the game. They've got the rush on.
They're going to block one if he keeps taking that much time.
This one sends Rashad Baker back to the 32. Nice move to get out to the 44-yard line. That's a 42-yard punt. Ben Troop with the tackle. 12 on the return. And the Volunteers will have the ball in a rainstorm when we return. There is Smokey the 8th, a blue tick hound.
Beautiful dog.
My wife Nancy, who knows about these things, tells me they are good dogs. Good dog.
Good dog. Good dog, Smokey.
In a rainstorm in Neyland Stadium. No score. And the rain has returned. 1st down and 10. Volunteers at the 44-yard line. 2nd possession. Hand off to Jabari Davis. Nice run. And let's go down to Jill Arrington.
Well, Vern, looking back at 1998 flashback of this game between these two teams, Travis McGriff had a 70-yard touchdown reception. He tied the score at 17 in the 3rd quarter. The game went into overtime. It came down to 2 field goal attempts. First, Tennessee's Jeff Hall, who made a 42-yarder, and Collins Cooper missed wide left, a 32-yard field goal, giving the Volunteers a 20-17 victory. And here today, it looks like those field goals are going to play a big part in the game.
One certainly has now. That, by the way, was a CBS camera hanging upside down. It wound up in the Tennessee River that night. And the celebration on Cumberland Avenue didn't stop until after they found the camera. There's the handoff.
Randy Sanders told us yesterday that when they've got all these tailbacks and they're rotating and they're trying to keep everybody involved in the game, when Jabari Davis is in, that's when they want to kind of grind it out and pound on people a little bit. And we've seen 2 power runs in a row with Jabari Davis. Cedric Houston, a little more flashy, a little bit more of a big play threat. And right now, 2 plays in a row, they went right after this Florida defense.
That's the end of the first quarter. We are scoreless in Knoxville. We'll return to Neyland Stadium on the campus of the University of Tennessee after this message and this word from your local station. Welcome back to Neyland Stadium, Knoxville. Scoreless first quarter. First play of the second. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Jill Arrington, and the Volunteers looking at a 3rd and 3 at the Florida 49-yard line.
They better go help over the top on Kelly Washington up at the top. It looks like single coverage.
And they're up to press him. Here's the handoff to Fleming. Test the middle, spins. I don't believe that he got enough for the first down. Looks like Troy Fleming might have come up just a little bit short. Well, we start quarter number 2. Impressions of what you've seen in the first 15.
Well, I think first of all, Tennessee's doing a nice job balancing run and pass. They possessed the football, didn't get the field goal. Florida's doing a little bit better job, I think, running the or defending the run. Pass protection still needs to straighten up. But right now, with the weather like this, field position is in favor of Tennessee. They're going to punt Florida deep into their own territory again. And when the weather's a concern, field position even more of a factor.
Here's the left-footed Dustin Colquitt. And he pops this one down into the end zone. Nice effort, but it will come out to the 20-yard line. Early going second quarter. Classic rivalry, Florida, Tennessee, scoreless. Rain moved in around midnight last night. There was some hope that it would move through by game time, but it is sitting right over Knoxville as if it has found a home. Florida begins from the 20 on first down. Scoreless ball game. Mike DeGore will snap it back. The redshirt freshman. Here's Grossman with a play fake. Under pressure, heaves it out.
Wow, that's
and it is caught and out of bounds, but barely so by Kelvin Kite.
But again, the pressure. Rashad Moore in there, right into the body, into the face of Rex Grossman. He's got to throw off his back foot. I mean, this is so reminiscent of the Miami game where he's getting hit consistently. He's throwing off his back foot, and he still makes a great throw. No, good call. The foot was on the line. It's an excellent catch and effort by Kelvin Kite.
Rex has missed his last 4 passes. He throws in a heavy rain now from the 20 on 2nd and 10. Quick flip left side, inside cut Taylor Jacobs. And he moves out to the 33-yard line for a first down. For complete play-by-play information on top 25 games, click on NCAA football at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Burnett last play to me is a perfect example of why you don't have to be conservative when it's raining outside, because as an offensive team you have an advantage. Your wide receivers are running forward, defensive backs are backpedaling and cutting, and that time the defender fell down.
Got to look at Rashad Baker on the bench. Mark Jones has taken his place. Option play. Left side to Graham. A nifty move, and the flag is down. Rex Grossman for the 2nd week in a row with an option play. These two collaborated on a 40-yard touchdown run last week against Ohio.
Well, Ohio is an option team, and Rex executes it perfectly. Looks like Thomas Lott, the old Oklahoma quarterback, pitching at the last minute. The reason they run an option is it forces a defense to be accountable for it. They've got to be sound. Tennessee was not sound on their option defense that play, but there was a penalty on Florida that's going to bring it back.
Against the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
And when you defend the option, you've got to have the quarterback accounted for and the pitchman. They've got the quarterback, but nobody has got the pitchman. Now, the hold is on Max Starks out there, the left tackle, leading the play, but Tennessee has to do a better job of accounting for Ernest Graham on that play.
After the penalty, it's 1st and 17. Graham and Rand Carthen both in the backfield alongside Grossman. Takes the snap from the spread, handoff. Graham tries to get yardage. Did you run the option any?
Ran it on the goal line. You know, short yardage and goal line was the only time that we ran it. Although I did have a 43-yard run on an option against the Missouri Tigers, where our producer went to school.
Who's the best option quarterback you ever saw?
Who?
Would it have to be a wishbone quarterback?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they were the best guys doing it. I mean, they were so slick with the ball handling and pitching it at the last minute. I like Thomas Lott.
Can I date myself?
Go ahead.
Jack Mildren, Oklahoma.
He's a great one.
Steve Davis, Oklahoma. Here's the flip to Kelvin. Kite popped as he gets the ball.
Incomplete.
Eddie Moore, one of the tri-captains. That's David Jurgensen with a look of disgust on his face as he flips the ball back. Eddie Moore talking with us yesterday during the walkthrough about the speed on this Tennessee team.
Well, they're all fast. Now, he said Corey Larkins is probably the fastest, but Eddie Moore read that one quickly and was right there for the big hit. Last year in the ball game, he knocked Kelvin Kite out of the game with a big hit. Almost did the same thing there.
3rd and 14. A lot of time. Grossman has a man, but it's behind Julian Battle. He had Aaron Walker. Actually had 2 receivers in the pattern in the same area.
Again, they're out of sync a little bit. I mean, they got 2 guys in the same spot. You need to space the field. And on that play, both the tight end and the wide receiver were in the same spot, and Rex Grossman kind of threw it up there in the middle of the field.
Now Sean Morton on to punt. Rashad Baker remains on the Tennessee bench. Mark Jones is on to return this one. And it's off the side of the foot. And a flag is down as well. 2 of them.
What that flag suggests to me is that there might have been too many guys on the field, because that flag came out right away as soon as the ball was snapped.
Now wait for the preliminary indication here from Rogers Redding, the referee. Both coaches wait with us. It's going to go against Tennessee.
I can't remember if that signals illegal participation or illegal substitution, but it was one of the 2. They had 12 men on the field. It won't give Florida a first down.
And we see if we get the explanation.
We'll get it sorted out here.
We have illegal participation, 12 men on the field against the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. The yardage is enough for a first down.
Wow. It is a first down. 15-yard penalty. There's a difference between illegal substitution if a guy is trying to get off the field and illegal participation, which means they actually ran the play with 12 guys. And that is that is pretty inexcusable. The game earlier this year with Washington and Michigan, where that came up, was a critical mistake for the Huskies.
And they lost that game because of that critical mistake.
Boy, you have them stop 3rd and long, and you give up the first down on a penalty like that. And new life for Rex Grossman and the Gators.
Ingle Martin is back on the field. Number 10. He's in motion now. He's a Tennessee kid. Here's Grossman back to throw off his back foot again. His catch, however, it's not made. Incomplete.
You know, and that ball hung in the air too long, and part of that is because Rex did throw it off his back foot. Now, I understand when you're getting pressured, I mean, it is a tendency to get rid of the ball early, so you try to avoid that hit. But he didn't have to throw that off his back foot. He could have stepped into that one, and if he steps into it, that ball doesn't hang, and Troop's able to come up with the catch. And that ball hung and hung and hung, and Stephen Marsh was able to rip it out.
Very modest statistics for Rex Grossman in the first half now. 4 of 12. Sacked once, hurried 3 times, and he has been knocked down 3 times.
He still has to step into it and throw, even though he's getting hit, and he's done that in his career.
Here's Graham out to the 46-yard line into the arms of Mark Jones, number 10. and Kendrick, number 93. Well, last dozen years, the team that has rushed for more yards has posted 11-1, and the team with the fewest turnovers 8-3-1. And a surprise that you pointed out, those so far this year, Florida has rushed more than Tennessee has, and Tennessee has thrown more than Florida has.
Florida not able to get much going in their running game so far today.
On third down, blitz. Grossman heads left over the head of Ernest Graham. You know him very well. You've seen him play a lot of times.
He's out of sync. I mean, you can just tell by his body language where he just doesn't look comfortable. I mean, last year he played as well as I've ever seen a quarterback play, and just so confident, so comfortable, so decisive when he would set up to throw, and he's not into that yet. He hasn't hit a rhythm in this new offense in this new season.
Fourth down coming up. Sean Morton on the punt again, and Mark Jones this time drifts back to the 16-yard line. Here's Morton. And Jones moves up, grabs it at the 19, and heads right. Nice tackle. Matt Jackson downfield to make the tackle. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
I think Florida's defense has settled in here fairly nicely against the run. I mean, they've answered that challenge. Now I think Tennessee has to challenge them throwing the football. There's too many guys around the line of scrimmage. They got to go over the top to Kelly Washington and get Jason Witten in the game as well.
Derek Tinsley is in the backfield, gets the first down handoff out to the 28-yard line. Tinsley, the third tailback used by Philip Fulmer here in the first half of play.
I know it's raining, and you just logically assume, well, it's raining, better be conservative and run the football. But as long as they can keep the ball fairly dry on the sideline and have enough footballs to rotate in, you have the advantage as an offensive team, because your receivers are running forward, defenders are backpedaling and then trying to cut quickly on a wet turf. You have an advantage throwing the football if the balls are relatively dry.
2nd and 8. Lawson will throw. Flips it out left side. Tinsley, who is really an all-purpose back. Derek Tinsley can help you in 5 different positions. He is a wide out. He plays 2 wide receiver positions, a tailback, a fullback, and he also uses Jason Witten's talents as a tight end when he's split out.
Yeah, they've asked a lot out of him, and you see why they want to keep him in a back. You know, you get matchups, get him out in that open space, and watch the move he puts on Kewan Ratliff. I mean, Ratliff is an out in space player, and he got faked right out of his shoes that time by Tinsley.
On 3rd and 4, Tinsley heads out, and Troy Fleming will be the only setback behind Casey Clausen. 3rd down and 4, scoreless first quarter. Clausen comes left, and it's the tight end Jason Witten for the first down at the 40-yard line. Now let's go back once again to New York. Here's Timmy B.
Vernon Todd, one of the real enigmas this year. Colorado, they've been sort of in the twilight zone, and you wonder why with a back as good as Chris Brown. Here you see him really do it on his own against UCLA to tie the game at 7. Back to Vernon Todd.
All right. Thanks to him. Of course, they've had a quarterback out with a concussion, Craig Ox, and then they got hammered at home last week, and a flag is thrown before the snap here.
I think it's a sideline warning on Florida.
We have a sideline warning against Florida. That's the first warning of the game.
So the first sideline warning against the Florida bench.
Always kind of get a kick out of that call. I mean, as if those guys out there don't have more important things to worry about. I can see if the coaches are out on the middle of the field. Stay behind the line, boys.
Yeah, Ron Zook is giving an earful to a nearby official. First down and 10. Casey Clausen. Brother Rick, of course, quarterback at LSU. Fumble. Clausen goes back. He and Jabari Davis get there about the same time. And a problem on the snap.
Yeah, one of the problems with a wet football, and you can see that ball is wet. Got to make sure the snap. That thing went right between the hands of Casey Clausen. That was just like a thing is slippery in there when it gets wet. And again, you got to really try, make sure they keep those balls as dry as they can on the sideline.
Wind bother you more than rain?
Yeah, wind was much more of a problem than rain. it altered the throw a lot more. Again, rain, and this is not a downpour. I mean, you can throw in this weather, again, as long as you keep the balls relatively dry.
And we have no wind. Second down and 15. Three-man rush for the Gators. Screen pass left side. Jabari Davis. Good block from Anthony Herrera. And he picks up the 5+1. Now let's take a look at the SEC moment presented by Sonic. It was the silver anniversary of the 1969 Gator Bowl, and that was the last game that Doug Dickey would coach at Tennessee before going to the Florida sideline as the Gator head coach. After only 2 offensive touchdowns total from both teams, Florida's goal line stand proved to be the deciding factor in Florida's 14-13 win. Tennessee won the SEC championship in '69, but because of the league schedule did not play Florida in the regular season. 3rd and 9. Doug Dickey, of course, now the athletic director at Tennessee. Here's tossing for Witten, who is collared up high by Corey Bailey.
Nice play by Corey Bailey. He's a smaller guy, 5'11", 185, going against the tight end. And he timed it very well, and he got in there right up around the head and the shoulders and the neck of Jason Witten and knocked that ball out. Now, if he goes down low and just tries to make the tackle, Witten makes that catch and gets a first down probably.
And that brings up 4th down. Dustin Colquitt back to punt. Kewan Ratliff waits it at the 20-yard line. Dustin's father, Craig, a former punter here at Tennessee. Nice and high. Wow. I would say that one brought rain, but we had it already. That was a dandy. Up into the 2nd level. 43-yard punt and out of bounds. Sudden wealth may have been acquired by the Knoxville poncho salesman this morning. I think there was a run on ponchos. Umbrellas not allowed in the stadium, so you either put yourself in a poncho or soak. 1st and 10. Word from Jill Arrington. Rashad Baker sprained elbow, but he is back. Here's the handoff to Rand Carthen, and run he did out to the 28-yard line. Julian battled with the tackle, but a pickup of 12, and it is time now for the much anticipated Aflac question of the day. And here's the question. Tennessee Athletic Director Doug Dickey was the head coach at both Florida and Tennessee. Who were the coaches in this game who have coached at both schools? And a flag is down.
You know, Florida came out and went quick count on that first running play, and prior to that, only 16 yards rushing on 8 plays. They got 12 on that one, but they give 5 of it back now on an illegal motion penalty. Ron Zook has to be frustrated because, you know, really Florida should feel pretty fortunate to be in this game 0-0 because they've started on their own 9, their own 16, and on the 20 twice. They've been playing on the long field, and the game is still tied.
Now 1st and 15 with 8:04 to go, first half of play. Mike DeGore, the center. Line change, walking assignments. Grossman sidearms this one to Carthen out to the 25-yard line and out of bounds. Eddie Moore makes the tackle. Rex Grossman, the frustration continues.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to get into a great rhythm. You see him trying to call the audibles in the crowd, but this has been the story all season. Hit after he throws it, chased out of the pocket, forcing some things, and frustration in his body language. And that's what we've seen all season so far from Rex Grossman. You know he's a great quarterback. He's going to break out of it sooner or later, but he hasn't done it yet.
2nd and 13. Here comes the blitz. Stephen Marsh was almost there. Now Grossman chased from behind. How about this nifty run for Rex Grossman? Number 9, Stephen Marsh, has missed the first 2 games as senior. And that'll bring your enthusiasm back.
That's a little more positive body language. Again, it's a stunt. Stephen Marsh is going to come on the inside, and nobody picks him up. It's not a full-out blitz. It's only 5 guys rushing, but they don't pick it up. And Grossman, you see a little his strength as he sheds the tackle and then makes a clutch play to get his team a first down. And maybe that's the shot in the arm that the Florida offense needed.
That's a 19-yard gain. Here is Rand Carthen, who goes left behind Max Starks for 3 yards.
We showed you the graphic about the running, and the team that runs for more yards wins 11 out of the 12 last 12 they've played. And Florida has to get some success running the football. That will take some of the pressure off of Rex Grossman. If they can get something going running the football with Ernest Graham and Rand Carthen, then that'll slow that Tennessee pass rush down a little bit.
On second down, Jacobs goes left. Perez is split wide right. Carthen.
This looks like an audible here. Maybe trying to get the ball to Taylor Jacobs.
And a half roll by Grossman. He is chased as he goes to his right. Goes deep. Flag is down. Taylor Jacobs dives and slides into the end zone. Will be down at the 1. There's a flag back at the 37.
I think it's going to be against Tennessee. It's thrown in the area of defensive holding.
So Grossman waits. Jacobs waits. And we wait.
And this was Rex Grossman again, getting away from pressure, buying extra time, and that enabled Taylor Jacobs to slip behind the deepest defender. This isn't how they drew it up, but Jacobs was able to get behind Willie Miles. There was no safety over the top. You know the speed Jacobs has. He fights off the man-to-man coverage, and then Miles got caught looking back at the quarterback. He thought the play was over, and Jacobs never gave up on it.
Taylor Jacobs tripped. It was defensive holding. It was declined by Florida. They will take the 52-yard gain, a 1st and goal at the 1. And the Volunteers call timeout. The time comes with 6 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the first half of a thus far scoreless game. Florida with a power set. They've got Willie Green, Rand Carthen, Ray Snell in the backfield. Carthen is the deep back directly behind Grossman on 1st and goal. They give the handoff to Carthen. Good defensive pursuit led by Julian Battle, number 14.
Kind of a slow developing play. It's a little bit of a counter. They're trying to pull the backside guard, and penetration by the Tennessee defense kind of shut that one down. This is a run defense that over the last 3 years has given up very little. Less than 100 yards average over the last 36 regular season games.
Grossman looks over at the bench.
He looked at the bench. He looked at his wristband. He's got 7 seconds on the play clock now.
Play fake. Grossman. Nobody open. And Grossman will run and is belted down by Julian Battle at the 1-yard line. Ball was down. It did come out. But Battle with back-to-back plays on either side of the field.
You know, one thing we're seeing a little bit of, too, is we're seeing that Rex Grossman's got a little foot speed, because this is a fast defense, and he's outrunning linebackers to the corner here. And he outruns Keon Whiteside and gets hit pretty good, but that was a good call. The ball was down, and now a big 3rd down play for the Florida offense. If they run it, I would expect them to run it over the left side, and Big Mac starts.
Carthen again puts his head down, drives, and did not get in.
Take a look now. They stack everybody over, and they've got 2 backs leading, and Carthen trying to sneak it underneath. He gets his shoulders down, but again, good penetration by the Tennessee defense.
Grossman thought he got in. He could not persuade the officials. Time called. 4th down coming up. Taylor Jacobs caught a 52-yard pass from Rex Grossman. He needed 53 for the touchdown. He tripped and came down at the 2. 3 running plays have gotten Florida to the 1. Now they have a 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, and they will go for the touchdown. Ernest Graham is in place of Rand Carthen, who got the carry on 2 of the 3 plays.
I think this is a good call going for it. Your defense is playing pretty well. You either get the touchdown or you make Tennessee go 99 yards.
Didn't get it. Leads for it. Yes, he got it.
Second effort got it.
All it takes is for the ball to cross the plane.
Second effort, and that reach of the football by Ernest Graham is what got it.
If the ball crosses the plane, which goes around the globe, as we all know, it is a touchdown. And before Graham was down, watch him reach out, and the ball crossed the plane.
Good penetration. That's Keon Whiteside flying in there, and then the legs keep going. The ball is reached. We can't see it very good from there, but the referee on that side is looking right down the line at it. There's the reach of the football. He holds on to it, and all the nose of the ball is all that has to cross the plane. Wow.
Matt Leach's extra point cuts inside the right upright. The official who made the touchdown call was the man who was closest to the ball. I don't mean to go to Limerick County here, but it's 7-0 Florida. Well, Ernest Graham, prior to the whistle, leaned out and was judged to have crossed the plane with the football. Todd?
Well, he kept his legs going, and then they reached out, and all the ball has to do is cross the plane of the end zone. Now, there's 2 officials looking right at it. One coming right down the side looking at it. Take a look at this guy. He's got the best shot of it right there. He's on it. He's watching Ernest Graham with that football, and he's the one that signals touchdown. He comes in and makes the call, and he makes a definitive call.
And from the rear of the end zone, you take a look at Ernest Graham, judged not to have made contact with the ground, whose forward momentum was judged not to have been stopped. And, well, what do we got? Controversy involving Florida and Tennessee.
Close calls in the end zone here in Knoxville.
Yeah. It was here 2 years ago that a man named Jabbar Gaffney caught a pass from Jesse Palmer and was ruled to have had possession of the football. That one still rankles. 2 years ago, in the end zone or near from the 3-yard line, Jesse Palmer. Now this is last year. This was a try for 2 in a 34-32 game with 1:10 to go. This was Grossman and Florida trying to tie up the ball game. That was a year ago. And we're going to charge that one up for the guys in the truck.
Everybody gets a mulligan. No problem with that.
First down and 10.
I think Tennessee needs to be more aggressive offensively. Get Washington and Witten involved.
Fumble.
Fumble snap. Florida got it.
That's the second snap.
Second one that has not come up clean before the game. You know, before the game, I watched Mike Berry with the centers and Casey Clausen out there working on snaps before the game. And there was a little bit of a look of concern on his face. You got to make sure you get the snap first. So the quarterback, he can't pull out of there too quick. He's got to stay in there and ride the center. And Marcus Okendo Johnson comes up with a loose ball. And Florida in great position right now after the turnover.
And with 4:41 still on the clock in the first half.
Now, you always have to, as a quarterback, make sure you get the snap first. You can't do anything until then. When the ball is wet, you have to be extra cautious and kind of stay in there a little bit longer with the center. And 2 times now, they haven't gotten a good exchange.
Double tight end set for the Gators. That's Troop, Ben Troop, who starts in motion. Grossman being chased by Rashad Moore. And is knocked off his feet at the 40. A flag is thrown.
They're going to call intentional grounding. Rashad Moore came almost unblocked. And what Rex is complaining about is they were trying to throw a throwback screen. This was a design play. Now watch Rashad Moore. He just goes right past the right guard Jorgensen. I mean, just ran right past him. I mean, as a quarterback, you've got to have a little more time to execute your offense. I mean, that's not Rex Grossman's fault. The penalty's on him. But, man, you can't just olay a guy like Rashad Moore up there. You got to put a hat on him and slow him down a little bit.
Well, in that Miami loss 2 weeks ago, we saw the right side of this offensive line. It was Jorgensen, Hand, Cologne, Mo Mitchell, who is not with the team, the right tackle. He may or may not be back. Rashad Moore blew right by Jorgensen on that play.
Good thing for Tennessee, that's a loss of down penalty as well, so it's 2nd and 25 now for the Gators.
From the 39. Here comes 5 men rushing. Flip out to Graham. Gets by the first tackle, slips another, slips a third. A nifty run for Ernest Graham down to the 26-yard line. He gained 11. And poor tackling by the
Absolutely.
Volunteers.
4 missed tackles by the Volunteers. That should have been a gain of about 1. And Ernest Graham turned it into a big-time play and get a bunch of that yardage back after the penalty. There's 1 missed tackle. That's Jabril Wilson. 2, 3, 4. You just can't. You got to wrap this guy up. I mean, he is a hard-running guy, and he's not going to go down just by colliding with him.
Rain volume increases. 3rd and 14. Grossman back. Goes deep in the end zone. Triple coverage. It's caught. Carlos Perez. My gracious. 28 yards. Florida touchdown.
This is unbelievable, because I think 2 of the Tennessee defenders converging on the play ran into each other and fell down. And Carlos Perez runs right down the middle and catches the ball. 3rd and long. Rain coming down like crazy. And a perfect throw by Grossman to Perez. And Tennessee defenders around the football, but nobody makes a play on the ball.
Extra point from Matt Leach is up and good. Carlos Perez, his first touchdown catch of the season. Rex Grossman, more than a little happy. Just like that, Florida up by 14. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
Well, what Rex Grossman saw is these safeties splitting, and here's Perez. He's going to run the post right down the middle, and when the safeties realize where the ball's going and try to converge back into it, they both take bad angles to the football. Grossman, under duress, puts it right down the middle, and those safeties just kind of got locked back there, and neither one of them made a play on the football.
Carlos Perez, born in the Dominican Republic, immigrated to this country, lives in Hoboken, New Jersey with his family, learned English by watching Sesame Street. Grossman and Clausen, the comparison of those 2.
I was talking to some of the Florida coaches on the field before the game, and they were saying, you know, we've got disrespected this week. Our players felt it, and they've never felt that before. And he said, I think it might have been good for us in the long run. They came in here with a little more serious attitude about playing, and so far they've taken the game right to the Volunteers.
Here's the kick. Short, bounces, fumbled, scrambled, that may be Florida ball.
I think they got it, unless they fought for it underneath and lost it. My goodness.
There is a scrum at the 20.
Special teams have been very good for Tennessee in the first 2 ball games, but tonight a little bit of a problem, and the Gators do have the football. When that ball was kicked, it looked like it was such a short kick it was going to hurt Florida, but the receiver let it bounce. Corey Larkin should have never let this thing bounce on the ground. He should have fielded it cleanly, and he never ever put the football away. My goodness. He never ever put the ball away. It's wet, it's slip. You can see it shining down there, and Florida able to come up with the football.
Corey Larkins got it.
Johnny Lamar.
I beg your pardon. It was Larkins who fumbled it. Zephyrin Augustine is the man who hit him after the fumble and kept him from getting close. 3:29 to go before the break.
Critical situation right now for the Tennessee defense. They've got to respond here.
Grossman. O.J. Small intercepted at the 1-yard line. Picked off by Rashad Baker.
I think Rex got greedy on this one too. He threw it, he didn't set his feet, he kind of hung it up a little bit, and Tennessee does respond. They're trying to go for the kill right now on the post pattern, and the ball is hanging in the air. It's high. Jones gets a hand on it, and Baker comes up with the football. See, that ball is just thrown too high. You can't throw it high in the middle of the field like that. You're going to have problems every time. And Tennessee, when they needed it most, got the answer from their defense.
And now the Volunteers 99 yards away with 3:22 to go before the break. Clausen, his back's in the eye. Everybody in tight. Another fumble. That is the third bad exchange between Scott Wells and Casey Clausen. The ball that wet?
Well, the ball is wet, but you know what? And I guess the problem is they're taking all their snaps under the center. You know, Rex Grossman is in the shotgun, and it's not been a problem for Florida. But every time that ball is coming up, and they're not making a clean exchange. And you know, Philip Fulmer, who's a former offensive line coach, is really upset with this because now he's thinking about it. Scott Wells is thinking about it, and Casey Clausen's thinking about it. You don't want your quarterback and center having to think about taking the snap.
They managed to gain one. It's 2nd down and 9.
There it is again. This is unbelievable. The 4th one. You know, there's nothing much you can do about it except come to the sideline and work on it until you get it straight. But this is flirting with disaster here for the Volunteers.
That's a quartet of fumbles between Wells and Clausen. That was a Florida timeout after the 4th fumble on the center exchange between those two young men, Casey Clausen and Scott Wells.
You know, it's something that in the game of football you expect to be automatic, but it's not automatic. They're trying everything now. Take the gloves off, get some rosin bag, get a towel. But the bottom line is the center has to snap it up solid up into his rear end, and the quarterback has to have his hands in there, and he's got to stay in there. He can't pull out too quick.
How much of a mind game does that become now?
It's a tremendous mind game, particularly for Scott Wells. And if Florida's smart, they'd put Ian Scott right over top of Scott Wells and have him hit him right in the nose as soon as the ball snapped. And there he is right there over the center.
3rd and 9 from the 2. Clean exchange, but no gain. Jabari Davis hit by Bam Hardman. It will be 4th down with 2:23 to go.
I like the move of Bam Hardman into the middle. I mean, he has really stepped up to the challenge. He's not an overly big guy. He's only 230 pounds playing on the Mike linebacker, but he has really given them a more physical presence in there than they were getting from Matt Farrier. Senior leader, has been a very productive player, and Scott Wells, I'm not sure what he'll do at halftime. He may change his pants, you know, try to get something else going, get that karma switched around or something.
That brings up 4th down. Dustin Colquitt a yard away from the end line. Kewan Ratliff awaits the punt inside the 45 of Tennessee. Wow. They blocked one 2 weeks ago. Todd Johnson did. This one a great punt, but Ratliff will have a chance to return it. Open field block. There is no flag.
Yes, there is.
Now there's a flag down at the 48.
I think they got Corey Bailey for the block. I thought it looked like a good block. It looked like he sized him up the right way. But I think this one's going to come back for an illegal block in the back. Boy, oh boy, Tennessee is dodging a bullet right here. I mean, between the snaps, the field position. You know, in that first quarter, Tennessee had the great field position the whole quarter. Now Florida has been in Tennessee's territory just about the whole second quarter.
Now this will negate a 56-yard punt return. Illegal block, Corey Bailey.
Take a look. Right here it is. Corey Bailey, the helmet in the back, on the block on Tinsley.
And that block was right on the edge. Right on the edge.
A big break for Tennessee because Florida was right down there in big time scoring position again. And now they're in their own territory.
14-0. A controversial plunge for a touchdown by Ernest Graham. That followed by a fumbled snap exchange. Scott Wells, Casey Clausen recovered by Florida, and a touchdown catch of 28 yards by Carlos Perez. Now 1st down and 10. Here is Grossman. Here comes the blitz. Grossman goes left. Eddie Moore has him. He gets rid of it. And out in the open field, this is Ernest Graham. Another missed tackle. And Graham all the way across the midfield stripe. Time now for the answer to our
Aflac
question of the week. Tennessee AD Doug Dickey, the head coach at both Florida and Tennessee, who were the coaches in this game who have coached at both schools. Well, Ron Zook, the head coach at Florida, who was here as an assistant in the mid-'80s, Jimmy Ray Stevens, Don Brooks, and Joe Wickline.
Joe Wickline's the new offensive line coach at Florida now. Jimmy Ray Stevens was the Florida offensive line coach, now here at Tennessee.
Was there last year. Here's Grossman, pumps once, pulls up, now fires it, caught by Carlos Perez, who gets a block, and he's running free. More sloppy tapping by Tennessee, and Perez, a 21-yard gain.
The body language of Rex Grossman is changing in this football game. I said no over the air because I'm thinking that's not a play you want to make. Don't throw that ball. Take the sack. He's getting sacked by Robert Peace. He throws it to his outlet receiver. 2 plays in a row. He finds an outlet right before he goes down. He's on that other side of playing with confidence again. 2 big-time plays by Rex Grossman as he's about to be sacked.
That's a gain of 21. They load up the right side with 3 receivers. Jacobs is the outside man. Here comes the Tennessee blitz again. 3 down. They will bring the house. Grossman off his back foot for his tight end. Aaron Walker incomplete. And Omari Hand is the guy who gives Grossman a hand to get back up.
And this gets old, I'm telling you, as a quarterback. It really gets old. I mean, you're back there, you're fighting, you're scrapping. You got to throw and then take this. You know, not only do you hit the ground, you got water splashing up in your face, in your ear. I mean, that gets old.
Knocked down 4 times now, 2nd and 10 with 57 seconds to go before the break. They'll run it. Come right. Got a block. Rand Carthen rumbles inside the 15.
That was easy. I mean, that was an easy first down pickup for Florida. You see Ernest Graham heading to the locker room, so we're going to see Rand Carthen carrying the load here. But that one was an easy pickup by the Florida offense.
And it gets them within field goal range, if nothing else. Coming up, the Gateway halftime report. Tim and Spencer will have scores and highlights of all the games that are underway now this big college football weekend.
Tennessee just called their last timeout. I mean, this is a defense right now. If you look at them, they're a little out of sync, and they need a break.
Time called with 48 seconds to go in the half. 14-zip Florida, and they're threatening. Think back over the early part of this season. Miami came into Gainesville to take on Florida and took them. Played UAB and Ohio. On the other side of the ball, Tennessee has played Wyoming and Middle Tennessee State so far.
And Ron Zook, I mean, he's the optimist, but he said, I really think that game against Miami will help us because we've played a big game against a tough opponent, and Tennessee hasn't yet. And I think he's right.
On 1st down and 10, inside the 15. The ball is at the 13-yard line.
Play clock running down.
Ball snapped back. Rand Carthen shakes another tackle. This one from Keon Whiteside. We are seeing a ton of missed Tennessee tackles in this game.
Well, by our count, Matt Sine, my spotter over here, he's counted 16 missed tackles now by the Tennessee defense. I mean, this is a blitz. It's a perfect call by John Chavis. There he is right there. He called the blitz. It came right into the running play. I mean, that should have been stuffed for a 2-yard loss, and instead Carthen not only be able to gain yardage but stop the clock by running out of bounds. So wow.
Ron Zook peers through the rain. His team up by 14, and they've got a 2nd down and 5 with 40 seconds to go. 1 timeout remaining for Florida. Again, the blitz threatened. Volunteers are coming. Right side for Taylor Jacobs. Touchdown, Florida.
Jabari Greer never saw the ball coming, and that's a perfect throw from Rex Grossman to his favorite target. I mean, that's just take the snap, throw it to a spot on the outside shoulder of the receiver. I mean, you can't defend this. Throw it to the outside shoulder of the receiver. Perfect spot, and Jabari Greer didn't see the ball until too late. My goodness.
A 2nd touchdown pass in the first half for Grossman. Matt Leach with the extra point. And this is suddenly a soggy and stunned crowd at Neyland Stadium. 21-0 Florida. Dave Monday here on CBS. I'm stunned like you are.
I am. I mean, 21 points in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds by the Florida Gators, and have taken control of this football game. And right now, Tennessee just holding on to try to get to the locker room to see what they can do to turn this thing around.
Corey Larkins back to return the kickoff. Matt Petrovich will kick off. He's also a headhunter on special teams. This one is very short again. Looks like it might be by design, and it's taken on the near side by Derek Tinsley, and Tinsley dropped at the 29-yard line. That is the second time we've seen that short kick by Petrovich.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown. Here's what Rex Grossman saw. He saw these two safeties in here, so he knows he has single coverage with Jacobs on Greer out here. He gets the snap. He gets rid of it quicker than the blitz can get there, and he throws it to the outside shoulder of Taylor Jacobs. I mean, that's just excellent execution. And Grossman, who was at one point 4 for 13 for 40 yards, has turned it around. He's hit 7 of his last 9, and he's got his team in front by 3 touchdowns.
And we see a smile we've not seen in the last couple of weeks. 21-0 with 30 seconds to go.
Tennessee is they're a discombobulated football team.
Now Clausen wants to stop the clock. They're out of timeouts.
They are discombobulated.
Now, by our count, they had used all 3. And indeed, there's a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah.
That's a delay of game call. That's what it is. They did not call the time. So a 5-yard penalty.
Well, he wanted to call timeout and didn't know he didn't have any, so
Right.
they had to take the 5-yard penalty.
This one lobbed out, taken by Troy Fleming. Clint Mitchell chases him down from behind. He gets him at the 40-yard line. That is a pickup of 11 and a first down. And a flag is thrown over at the 33-yard line.
I like Clint Mitchell. I like watching him play football. I mean, he's a guy. We saw a guy last week at Georgia, David Pollock, a very similar player. High energy, high motor guy. There was a guy here at Tennessee, Will Overstreet, that played the same way. And Clint Mitchell, man, he just never slows down. Chases plays all over the place. He's had some problems in his career, staying eligible, staying, you know, in the good graces of the administration at Florida and the coaches staff. But when he's on the field, he's a pretty effective guy.
This is the holding call against Tennessee that'll cost them yardage back inside the 20.
Well, one of the things I think we found out here in the first half is that Tennessee, even though they won their first 2 games, they've not looked great on offense. And they stumbled around against Middle Tennessee, didn't put them away as effectively as people might have thought. And this is still an offense that's searching right now.
Handoff. Troy Fleming hangs on to the ball.
Oh, Mitchell stole it.
Mitchell stole it. Speaking of David Pollock, Mitchell stole it with 2 seconds to go. David Pollock with an interception last week, and Clint Mitchell takes the ball away from Troy Fleming.
This is an offense that's out of sync. There's Mitchell from behind, strips it, pulls it out, and stays on his feet to run the football forward. And that's an outstanding athletic hustle play by Clint Mitchell.
I swear that looked a little bit like David Pollock's play. Clint Mitchell with the turnover. Now Matt Leach is the new place kicker. And he is on to try a field goal of 41 yards as time expires. And he got it. Talk about putting a period to the paragraph. And the Volunteer faithful have become They're booing.
My, oh my. So much for the Florida Gators being done and buried.
And let's check in with Jill Arrington.
Coach Fulmer, Tennessee had all the momentum through the first quarter, lost it there in the second. 21 points, now 24 points. What's happened to your team in the second quarter?
About as bad an exhibition of football in the second quarter as we've had around here in a long time. Obviously, we got to hold the football. We got to tackle better. There's not much that we did very well there in the second quarter.
Why can your team not handle these weather conditions, and what are you going to tell them about that?
It shouldn't be a problem. We'll get it worked out.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right. We welcome you back to Neyland Stadium on the campus of the University of Tennessee. Florida up 24-0. helped in no small measure by 6 Tennessee fumbles, 3 of which were recovered by the Gators. And Matt Petrovich will kick off as we get started with quarter number 3. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Jill Arrington in a shocking first half, especially the second quarter. Petrovich will kick it deep. And Corey Larkins, who has one of those fumbles, is the deep man. And Petrovich nails this one, driving Larkins all the way back to the baseline, and that will come out to the 20-yard line. Just a moment ago, Jill Arrington chatted with Florida head coach Ron Zook.
There are a lot of question marks about your team coming into the game. Up 24-0. In your wildest dreams, did you believe this would be the case?
I kept, we're not there yet, but we're getting better and better. Every time we take a snap, every time we step on the field, we get better. And that's what we're doing. We're getting better. We're still not where we got to be, but we're working hard.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
I think his motor runs all night long.
Well, he says he only sleeps 4 hours a night, and told one of his assistants who was complaining about that, says, well, if you sleep 4 hours really fast, it feels like 8. So I don't know if that works or not.
You know, having him and John Gruden in the same state, I'm not sure, you know. Here's Clausen across the middle to a diving Kelly Washington, his 3rd catch of the game. Let's go back and take a look at the first half highlights. It began, the scoring did, with this touchdown by Ernest Graham. Then one of 4 fumbles on the exchange recovered by the Gators. Carlos Perez for a touchdown from 28 yards out. A perfect pass to Taylor Jacobs caused Philip Fulmer to react with some degree of emotion. First down and 10 now. Tennessee at the 32.5-yard line. Make it the 32 legally. Here's the route to Washington. He's in a tussle.
Out of bounds.
And that will be out of bounds as Kelly Washington just about made his 4th. I guess, Todd, the most stunning thing of all were the fumble exchange, the center exchange.
That was inexcusable. I mean, you got to figure out a way. Now, Florida was in the shotgun more than Tennessee, so the snap problem wasn't for them. But Florida did what they had to do. They stopped the run. They held them to 43 yards on 18 carries, less than 3 yards per carry. I was surprised Tennessee didn't try to throw the football more to Kelly Washington, because Florida made a commitment to put more guys in there to stop the run, and they waited too long, I think, to try to get the ball to Witten and Kelly Washington.
Scott Wells gives it back to Casey Clausen. Here's the ball behind Kelly Washington. And prior to the start of the second half, this comes as no shock. Scott Wells and Casey Clausen.
Yeah, and I bet Scott Wells changed his pants. I bet he put some drier pants on and try anything to see it's not raining now, so it shouldn't be a factor. And that was just, you know, they just couldn't go anywhere. I mean, and when you're so concentrating on making sure you get the snap, you can't execute the play. A quarterback can't read a defense. An offensive center can't get into his block. I mean, you're just kind of panicked at that point. So it should not be a problem now as long as the rain stays away.
3rd and 10. The tight end Witten is a slot receiver to the left side. Play clock wound down. This will cost him 5 yards.
Boy, this is I'm stunned. I really am. I mean, this is Tennessee had an off week. I mean, they did not play last week, and they are not in sync. As you take a look at these numbers, the 3 turnovers, the rushing yards. 56 for Florida, only 42 for Tennessee. And again, you know, Florida was daring them to throw the football in the first half. They were going single coverage on Kelly Washington, and Tennessee didn't want to try to throw the football down the field. I don't understand that. Now they have to throw it, down by 24.
And they look at a 3rd and 15. Washington starts in motion, 3-man rush. Gators drop 8, which gives Clausen all kinds of time. He has to settle, however, for Troy Fleming out of the backfield. And he is dropped by Keywan Ratliff, and that brings boos from the crowd.
Excellent defense. 3rd down and long, rush 3, drop 8, make the quarterback dunk it underneath, and then go make a tackle.
So an unsuccessful opening thrust in the 3rd quarter from the Volunteers of Tennessee. Dustin Colquitt on to punt for the 4th time, and Keywan Ratliff awaits it at the 27-yard line. Little pressure. Ratliff says, I'm going to let this one bounce. It does, and comes to rest at the 28, I think is where they're going to mark it. 42-yard punt, nothing on the return. Well, let's check the stats for the two quarterbacks in the first half.
I mean, neither one was stellar numbers. You see a better percentage over here by Casey, but his average per completion 7.3. Over here 15.9 for Rex. So bigger plays by Rex Grossman throwing the football. Casey Clausen dunking it to the backs a lot more than Rex Grossman in that first half.
And we also saw a return of the swagger in the last half of the second quarter for Rex Grossman. Handoff left side, Rand Carthen. There's another missed tackle and a second. 2 missed tackles on that play.
And we're getting
That's
close
18
to 20.
missed tackles.
We're getting close to 20 missed tackles.
Coming up tomorrow, the NFL on CBS. Jets, Miami, Kansas City at New England, Cleveland, Tennessee, or Indy at Houston. And at 4 o'clock, Buffalo at Denver, or San Diego at Arizona. It all begins with this talkative quartet on the NFL today. Here's Carthen coming left. And out to the 43-yard line, another first down.
One of the reasons you want your running game to be good right now is because you want the clock to run. I mean, you want to make it more of a stressful situation for Tennessee, and the way you do that is by taking time away from them. Now, don't give their offense too many chances. Expect to see Florida really try to get some stuff going with that running game here.
First down and 10. Gators backs in the eye. Their opening thrust of the third quarter. Draw play. And Ernest Graham, of course, not on the field. Let's get more from Jill Arrington. Jill.
We saw Ernest Graham go into the locker room just before the half. They evaluated him at halftime. He is back on the bench. He isn't playing now. They say he hoped to be into the game. There he goes onto the field. We don't know what the injury is, but he's on the field now.
Obviously not serious. Second down and 9, and Graham is back at the tailback spot. Here's Grossman, quick setup. Pass to the right side, tipped away for Taylor Jacobs, and defending was Jabari Greer.
And that time, that was the same play they scored on, the same matchup, but that time Jabari Greer was able to find the football a little bit sooner and knock it away. It was a nice play by Jabari Greer there, the junior out of Jackson, Tennessee, Southside High School, probably the best cover corner for Tennessee.
And from behind the Florida bench, you look out now on the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 9.
3-man front for Tennessee. Expect pressure, some kind of twist game with the linebackers and the D-line.
There comes the rush from the corner. Grossman pulls up. He's sandwiched.
Fumble.
Tennessee ball. And Rashad Moore comes out throwing fists. There's a flag back at the 47-yard line. I don't know whether that was a result of this exchange of fisticuffs.
Well, Rex Grossman probably should have eaten this one. You see he's carrying that ball loose. He's trying to throw it, and Jabril Wilson, the strong safety, is the one who comes in there from behind and strips the football out. John Chavis has gone to the field. He's moved out of the box to be closer to his defense, and they responded on the opening possession. Boy, what a big break for Tennessee.
And it's going to be against Tennessee.
Well, it might have been on Rashad Moore. You mentioned he came up swinging, and you know, good hustle getting to the football, but not a very smart play that time by one of your senior leaders. You know, there's always a scrum at the end of the play, and there it is. There's the shot to DeGore, and just unnecessary. And they got the good a position as they should have, and John Chavis, one of the reasons it's better to be on the field is you can get right to a guy and get in his face.
On first down and 10, see if they air it out here, despite the penalty.
I mean, right here, Witten, he only had 1 catch in the first half. Washington, they've got to throw the ball downfield to him.
Here's Clausen back, screen pass right side to Troy Fleming. Gets a good block on Todd McCullough from Scott Wells, and that one works across the 50. That's a gain of 11 and a first down. Robert Cromartie made the tackle, number 25. We'll move the chain. John Chavis down on the sideline, the defensive coordinator. He may have gone down to teach him how to tackle.
Yeah, he might have.
You know, come over here and let me show you how this is done. 18 missed tackles by our count for Tennessee in this game.
It's a big drive for the Volunteers. If they can get a touchdown here, they can afford to be patient and run their offense.
Clausen, Jason Witten, the tight end with the catch to the 42-yard line. Mike Nattiel, number 59, makes a stop. And here is Ingle Martin, the backup quarterback, is warming up on the sideline. Word from Jill Arrington that Rex Grossman is banged up. And they're checking his right knee. That occurred on the fumble when he was sandwiched on the turnover. 2nd and 4. And Jabari Davis surges down inside the 30. And as significant as the offensive gain, they're getting the crowd back behind them again.
Yes, they are. He's their power runner. When they want to pound on you, that's the guy they go to. And he lowers the boom here. Good blocking on the inside. The double team between the guard and the center. Fleming with the nice block from fullback, and then he just runs right through the tackle of Gus Scott.
That is a pickup of 13 yards and a first down inside the 30. Clausen will go from the spread. Leonard Scott wide right. Washington to the left side. Clausen comes right side to Leonard Scott, and he drops the ball.
He's got to catch that with his hands. I mean, he let that thing come into his body, and there was the contact from Scott, and the ball popped out. And that thing gets into your body, and you get hit from behind. It's hard to hold on to it. Leonard Scott's open. It's a good throw. Catch it with your hands. Don't let that thing come in there to your shoulder pads.
And on the sidelines, they still check the knee of Rex Grossman. Knocked down 6 times.
I still think you got to just throw it up for this guy out here, Kelly Washington. If they don't bring a safety over the top, throw it up in the air and give him a shot to make a play.
2nd down and 10. There's a little first out inside. Tony Brown with a catch at the 15-yard line. And a flag is down as well.
And Tennessee's going to a no huddle. They're trying to pick up the tempo, trying to keep the pressure on the Florida defense, make them stay with the same personnel. A lot like what Florida likes to do.
Pass interference penalty declined by Tennessee. That gives them a first down at the 15-yard line.
That was a nice throw and catch over the middle. Well-placed ball by Casey Clausen. And this is the kind of situation Clausen likes to be in. He likes to bring his team back. He's done it 7 times in his career. And he's behind the 8 ball right now.
Clausen again with time into the corner, wide open, too far. Troy Fleming had gotten free.
He had gotten free, and you know what? There is a flag now. I think if Troy Fleming would have not jumped, he might have run right under this one. I think he timed his jump a little early. An illegal man downfield. Little razzle-dazzle play. You slip the fullback out of the backfield. He crosses with the wide receiver and goes to the end zone. And
Ian Scott, who's discussing the option now with Rogers Redding.
If he knows his microphone's not working.
Sopping wet.
Watch Fleming. See if he jumps too early. I think if he keeps running, he's got room to get to that back pylon. He runs right under this ball for a touchdown. But he jumped early. And Philip Fulmer, they had the right play called at the right time. And it just didn't connect.
After the penalty, 1st and 15.
Changing the play. Got lots of time. Play clock still has 10 seconds. When you go no huddle, you help yourself that way.
Quick flip out on the left side for Kelly Washington. And he makes the grab at the 15-yard line. They picked up the 5 they just lost. Well, Todd alluded to the Casey Clausen comebacks. 4th quarter last year, Arkansas, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida.
2 more in his first season as the starter. And I mean, you like to see that in a quarterback, a guy who can bring his team back from behind. Again, confusion, and Tennessee has to waste a timeout because they can't get the right people or the right play called in time.
been an exasperating experience for Philip Fulmer thus far. Second down 9, Tennessee just outside the 15-yard line. And on this second down play, Kelly Washington on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the sidelines, and been watching him during that timeout. He kind of keeps lifting his knee up. I don't think he feels 100% right now.
Second and 9, trailing by 24. Clausen in the spread with 3 receivers to the right. Here comes the rush. There's a pass. Perfect. And this will be a touchdown for Tinsley.
They took advantage of the timeout. They had the perfect play call. They had to get one blitz. They free released Tinsley out of the backfield, and they had to get one block. Anthony Herrera has to get the block for Tinsley, and he does it. They free release. They let the rush come. Now watch, here's the one block. Herrera gets it on Cromartie, and Tinsley goes into the end zone. Well done by Randy Sanders and the offensive coaches getting the right play call through that timeout.
Alex Walls has now hit 91 extra points in succession. So the Volunteers convert the fumble recovery off the Grossman miscue, and Tinsley has the TD. Yard drive, 7 plays for the Tennessee Volunteers, and now Philip Newman will kick off to Kelvin Kite, the deep man.
And no bobbled snaps. That was good execution that whole way down the field for the Tennessee offense.
Trailing by 17 after the Grossman fumble. Newman will kick off for the second time. Kite awaits it at the goal line. And this will be Rand Carthen, who is his sidekick over to the right. Good downfield tackle. My goodness. Derek Tinsley again.
Yeah. Twice we've seen him get him inside the 20-yard line.
Well, Rex Grossman, you saw him being tended to on the sideline. New policy invoked by the University of Florida for this football season. Here was Grossman getting sandwiched and fumbling. The policy by the University of Florida is to not share injury information on the sideline. So all we can tell you is that Grossman had a banged up knee. That's pretty obvious.
Right knee. Right knee that he's favoring, and but he's back in the game.
Draw play. Stuffed. Kevin Simon, number 5, was the first man there, and Demetran Veal, defensive tackle. Simon, who is playing in place of the injured Kevin Burnett, who may have been the best defensive player on the team, out for the season with a knee injury.
Kevin Simon's going to be a great player in his own right. He's coming back from a knee injury he had as a senior in high school in an all-star game, but a very talented, fast player playing in there as a young guy.
Second and 10. Long count by
They didn't get it off. They didn't get the play off.
Nope.
You see, the danger right now for Florida is they're still winning. I mean, they're 17 points ahead, but they can't get complacent here. They've got to stay aggressive on offense, and they've got to try to keep things going. And right now for Ron Zook, he's been in enough big ball games to know he can't play not to lose now. He's got to keep playing to win this football game.
And his club looks at a 2nd and 15 from the 14 after the delay.
Play like this, Rex Grossman needs to keep his composure, and he thinks get some of the yardage back. I don't have to get it all back on one play. If I can get 8 to 10 of it back, that's good.
Volunteers trail Grossman. He delivers, and it's Kelvin Kite wide open. Here's Kite out to the 50, and dragged down from behind. He holds on to the ball. A 40-yard Florida game.
Smart call by Ed Zonbrecker. He moved the quarterback out of the pocket. They've been getting to him. They're going to take Grossman out, and Kite is going to run the out pattern. And because they moved the pocket, Tennessee wasn't able to get to him with the rush. They move the pocket, they give him a throwing lane, and he beats Jabari Greer on the one-on-one.
After the 40-yard pickup, draw play left side, and again Graham is stuffed. And that's a loss of 1. Well, next week on Saturday on CBS, we'll begin with the Olympus College Football Today Show with Tim and Spencer back in New York. And then Todd and Jill and I will be somewhere, either in Gainesville or in Fayetteville. That determination to be made shortly.
How about the Kentucky Wildcats? 4-0.
Right.
Won again today.
Here's Grossman rolling out again, pumping, going deep. Taylor Jacobs waits for it, pulls up. There's a battle with Mark Jones in the end zone.
Well, they ran the same rollout action, and this time instead of throwing the out, they tried to go deep to Taylor Jacobs, and Mark Jones, coming over from his safety spot, did a nice job of finding Jacobs and then just kind of getting in his way. So he doesn't know where the ball is, but he sees Jacobs looking for it, and he just kind of gets between him and the football, and it goes incomplete.
3rd and 11. Grossman got him.
His right knee is he couldn't plant and go back the other way. Robert Peace came on the stunt. It's just a 5-man rush, 3 down linemen and 2 linebackers, but they're stunting and twisting in such a way that it's confusing the Florida offensive line. This was just a case. Watch Rex Grossman. He sees the pressure coming, and when he tries to plant on that back foot, he just can't go anywhere. It's his right knee that's bugging him. Couldn't get away.
And here is the punt by Morton. There was contact made. It's ruled incidental, and Mark Jones grabs it. He's got a little bit of room, but it's down to the 36.
One of these punters is going to get one blocked because both of them are too slow, and both of them have had a couple close calls in the ball game.
Tennessee trails by 17. They have the ball at their own 36-yard line, 1st down 10. They just went 59 yards for the last touchdown, their first of the game.
The true freshman out here, Jonathan Wade, new wide receiver in the game, out of Shreveport, Louisiana, has great speed.
Wearing number 4, Scott came across, contact was made, and this will cost Florida 5, unless it's Tron Lefevre, I beg your pardon.
Trying to move around and create some confusion, and he hurt his own cause.
John Thompson, defensive coordinator at Florida, said we need to get a little more play out of Tron Lefevre and Brian Savaleo.
Florida was a little bit vanilla on that last defensive series. They didn't move around too much. Let's see if they change their tactics to try to create a little confusion for Casey Clausen here.
Now Jabari Davis remains in the backfield. We haven't seen Cedric Houston in a while. Here's Clausen going deep, man coverage left side, and that one was almost picked off by Robert Cromartie, who had excellent position. And let's go down to Jill Arrington on the sideline.
Well, Kelly Washington has gone back into the game. There's not a medical problem with him. He's just been getting tired. Him coming back, this is only his first game after missing the first 2. Now Cedric Houston, he has a left thigh bruise. We didn't see a whole lot of him in the first half, and that could be why.
All right, thank you, Jill. Washington back on the field now on 2nd down and 5.
He has not practiced very much at all. I mean, about 4 weeks of doing nothing.
Here's Clausen. Delivers. Montrell Jones. It's incomplete. And let's go back to New York and check in quickly with Tim Brando.
Short of the Nittany Lions, it's been a pretty miserable year for the Big Ten. Gino Guidugli of Conference USA Cincinnati hits Ty Keith for the touchdown. It's 19-14 as we related the Buckeyes without Maurice Clarett today. And does it ever show, Vern?
Well, the freshman who has been mentioned legitimately in the Heisman Trophy race, Maurice Clarett, out with a knee injury today. Here comes a stunting Florida defense, and Clausen, nice pass to Jason Witten.
This shows you a little bit of how versatile Jason Witten is. This is a big tight end, 6'5", 265. They flanked him out wide, and this was supposed to be a quick throw, but it's not there right away. So Clausen has to wait, and Witten makes the adjustment to the route and comes inside and catches the football for the first down. That's a versatile guy, taking a guy that big and moving him out there and him playing like a wide receiver.
8 yards on his 3rd catch, and it's 1st down and 10. At the 49, here's Clausen under center. Across the middle again. It's caught. Kelly Washington Down at the 36-yard line, Mike Mateel, that's a gain of 15.
Very little pressure by the Florida defense. Tennessee keeping the pressure on that defense, going more no huddle, picking up the tempo. Florida trying to substitute some guys, get some fresh bodies to rush the passer, but Casey Clausen able to get good protection from his guys up front and throwing the football.
That was John Thompson prowling the sidelines, the 46-year-old defensive coordinator in his first season, having served at Arkansas the last few years. 1st and 10 after the 15-yard gain. Bobble in the backfield again.
Well, this was a shotgun. This was a little bit different. But nonetheless, it's the 7th bad exchange between Scott Wells and Casey Clausen. This is a bad snap. It's up high. Casey only gets one hand on it and then does a smart thing, falls on it. You don't give up the football there. You got some momentum. You're getting back in the football game. 2nd down and long now for the Volunteers.
That is a loss of 11. 2nd and 21. 5 fumbled snaps. Only 1 lost. But that one led to a Florida touchdown. Let's see what the Gators have in mind defensively. They're going to bring 5. Clausen has Witten down the middle. Got it. He has become a force. 18-yard gain.
Florida is showing a 2-zone. Okay, that means the safeties are split and the middle's open, and the guy they send into the middle is Jason Witten. He's big as a tight end, but he's got the speed to run this route. He runs the post right in the middle, and Clausen finds him for the 1st down. This guy is a valuable weapon for the Tennessee offense. They didn't get the ball to him in the 1st half. Only 1 short catch. They're using him now.
3rd and 2. This is Jabari Davis, and he struggles. Did not get it. I don't think he got enough for the 1st down. And if not, interesting decision to be made now by Philip Fulmer. Trailing by 17. I guess you got to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. I mean, they've got a little bit of momentum right now. I mean, they've got things going, and the offensive line of this football team was supposed to be one of the real strengths. Michael Munoz up there, Scott Wells, Herrera, Offenheisel.
And Smokey. The lightest of the bunch. 4th and 1. Play action, Clausen. He's going to run it on 4th and 1, and he got it. It's something he has done before. It's sometimes not pretty.
This was well defended by Florida. They were not fooled, but it was a good decision by Casey Clausen. See, you run this play thinking you're going to fool the defense and get an easy touchdown throw. But Florida was not out of position, so Casey does the right thing. Run it, get the 1st down, and line up and play 1st down. And that's a heads-up play. You call that thinking you're going to fool them and get the big one, but you get the 1st down anyway.
Clausen runs for the 1st. The ball at the 24-yard line. Now dances back, finds Fleming, who is immediately dropped at the 23-yard line. Well, we talked about Casey Clausen with the runs, bootlegs. Alabama, 3rd and goal, 6 minutes to go. Bootleg for 1 yard and a TD, giving the Vols a 28-24 lead. Against Notre Dame, 4th quarter, 4th and goal. That sealed the victory. And against Florida, a 4th and 3 conversion that kept the drive alive.
Very similar to what we just saw. 4th down, you need to keep the drive alive, run it, and get the 1st down.
2nd down.
Tinsley's in the backfield, so alert to a pass, but this looks like an audible now by Casey Clausen.
See the play clock. They get it cleanly. Here's Tinsley going left. Herrera with the block down to the 19-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down. Now, we talked a lot about Casey Clausen. His younger brother Rick is a quarterback at Louisiana State University. The family has taken an apartment here. Jim and Kathy Clausen. Was talking to Jim at the run-through yesterday. I said, you know, there's a rumor that your youngest son, Jimmy, might someday be the best quarterback of all. He's 14 years old and 6'1". And he said, yes, as a matter of fact, he can throw and run. And occasionally he throws a spiral.
Casey doesn't always throw the prettiest looking pass, but his completion percentage has been outstanding throughout his career, and particularly this season.
3rd down. Out of the gun, Clausen pulls up. Witten got it inside the 10. First and goal, Tennessee.
This is good awareness by Casey Clausen. He was going to run, and then he sees Witten. It's hard to miss a guy this big, flash in front of him. He stays with the play, and Casey able to dunk it to him for the first down. Now, when teams play cover 2 to take away Kelly Washington or an outside receiver, that opens up the middle of the defense. And if you have a tight end that can work the middle of the field, you can neutralize that kind of defense. And that's what Tennessee's done here in the second half, is they've worked the middle of the field with Jason Witten.
1:23 to go, third quarter. And a first and goal, Tennessee. Here's the toss. Davis gets a block. Bolts inside the 5, struggles down to the 3-yard line. Todd Johnson with the tackle, number 26. So they're running the big back.
They're running the big back behind their big guard, Anthony Herrera, the senior out of Naples, Florida. I mean, he got the key block on Tinsley's touchdown catch, and he is leading the way for Jabari Davis. There's Herrera, a very valuable guy. I mean, he can play tackle, he can play guard, he plays right side, left side. He's in there at left guard right now, lined up next to Michael Munoz.
And he's in there for Jason Respert, who is injured. This is officially at the 1-yard line. High formation, play fake. Clausen has it. He dives and does not get in. Down at the 1.
Good discipline by the Florida defense. I think that's a great call. Going play action on first down. Everybody's thinking run. You should fool them on that, but the Gators right there in position and keep Casey Clausen out of the end zone. A lot of times people wait to throw on third down when they get down in the goal line. I like throwing on first down and running on second and third.
And it's third right now. Third and goal, 24-7. Fleming is the fullback, Davis the tailback, and Tinsley in the slot right. Dives, got it. Tennessee touchdown. Jabari Davis.
Cedric Houston not able to go. They go to the number 2 guy, Jabari Davis, and he is delivered. Up and over the top by the big back. The offensive line for Florida in this second half, in the third quarter, establishing themselves in a much different way than they did in that second quarter.
That brings on Alex Walls for the extra point. Davis from a yard out. Oh, my goodness. That is a string of 91 consecutive extra points ended. Only the second extra point ever missed in Alex Wall's career. Davis does get 6, but the margin is 11. Tennessee has scored on its last 2 possessions. They've climbed right back in this one. They did, however, miss the extra point.
Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, he said something interesting to us. You know, people ask him, you know, is it bad having so many running backs? You know, they've got all these guys to try to figure out how to carry the ball. He says, I like having so many because we can rotate them, keep the competition up in practice, and then it's not as traumatic if we lose a guy. He said, last year, if we would have lost Travis Stevens, we would have been devastated. They lose Cedric Houston early in this ball game. They turn to Jabari Davis, and they don't miss a beat offensively here in the third quarter.
Philip Newman will kick off for Tennessee. Kelvin Kite and Seatric Faison are the 2 deep men. And this will be Kite. Touchback out to the 20-yard line. And while we've got a moment, let's go back once again to New York. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Vern, another one of the teams we said the stock going up on the college football today. Virginia Tech, Brian Randall beats the Wrecking Crew blitz, hitting Ernest Wilford here. He would take it all the way down to the 1, and the veteran Lee Suggs would take it in the rest of the way. Hokey, hokey, hokey high, the boys from BPI up by 10. Vern?
All right. Yeah, but it's not too late for a gig 'em.
Tough to find a better football coach in America than Frank Beamer, I'll tell you.
Oh, yes.
He is a fine football coach.
First down 10, Florida. Grossman back in. Banged up right knee. On a little slant pattern, Taylor Jacobs, and another ineffective tackle. This one from Willie Miles. That's a gain of 15.
Well, that's the 6th time that they've gone after Willie Miles. I mean, that's the matchup that they want. Taylor Jacobs working on Willie Miles. And that was close to being a big play. Miles able to trip him up at the end, but that almost turned into a huge play. Take a look at Tennessee in the second half now, starting to get it going again offensively as we come to the end of the third quarter.
That's the end of 3 with our score 24-13 Florida. We'll return to Neyland Stadium right after this message and this word from your local station. You get the idea that some folks in Neyland Stadium aren't concerned that the rain has returned.
Well, the good news, it's just a warm rain. And it's not cold out and it's raining. That would be really miserable for everybody.
71 degrees here in Knoxville. We start the 4th. And here's Rex Grossman, wants to throw it back to his left, settles for Kelvin Kite. And Kite struggles out to the 42-yard line. And Kelvin Kite, one of this quartet of receivers that Florida uses. Well, interesting game, the ebb and flow of this.
Yeah, I mean, it started out at first, they kind of went back and forth, nothing really happened. Second quarter, Florida dominated, particularly the last 5 minutes, blew the thing open. Tennessee comes back and dominates the third quarter. I mean, they outgained Florida 136-49 in the third period.
Second down, the snap, the handoff to Graham. He goes left, spins, and he's short of the first down at the 44-yard line. And that gives us time to go back to New York once again and check in with Tim.
All right, Vern, Charles in charge. Finally, Michigan State's celebrated wide receiver on the receiving end of this touchdown pass. 12th consecutive game he's had a touchdown from Jeff Smoker. Additionally, the Buckeyes had a 24-yard field goal from Mike Nugent, so they're trailing Cincinnati by 2 at Paul Brown Stadium. Stay tuned.
All right, thank you, Tim. 24-13. This one is getting tighter.
A little confusion here. Florida's going to go quick count. And Tennessee's ready for it. They're lined up.
3rd and 1, timeout. Gators use one of their allotment of 3. They lead by 11. We'll return in just a moment. Well, you know, the game of college football attracts a certain passion. 3rd and 1. Florida up by 11. Grossman, play action. Lobs it out, has Graham for the first down plus. And he's taken down in the Florida bench, but a first down Gators after the 11-yard gain. Now the Florida women's soccer team is playing out in the Bay Area of California. They played Santa Clara to a 2-2 tie last night. They are gathered at Buddy Teven's home today. Former assistant in Florida watching this game, and I'm sure enjoying it so far. First down and 10 after the gain of 11 at the 45. Here's the handoff to Graham. He goes left, tackle at the 44. Now we had word the Washington Redskins are playing the 49ers at Candlestick tomorrow. Steve Spurrier was to have attempted to get to Buddy Teven's home to watch the game. I don't know that he's there, but if he's not, what do you think he's saying right about him?
He's probably saying, Rex, if they're going to sack you, throw that ball away now. Don't take no more sacks. Got some good ball plays going out there.
Let's see if they've got one of them here. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 9 officially. Under center. Quick setup. Little inside pattern run to the left side by Taylor Jacobs. Well, one of the changes under Ron Zook last year, this was the most pronounced difference ever under Steve Spurrier, where they ran 41% and passed at 59%. A little more even now.
Well, coming into today, exactly 108 rushes, 108 passes, and there you see today. Pretty even balance as well. As long as you're not one-dimensional, I mean, you can keep an advantage over a defense. And this is a very good Tennessee defense. Florida's been able to do a little bit of both.
3rd and 3, tough pass. Jacobs struggles for the first down. That's his 7th catch of the game.
And the 8th time they've gone after Willie Miles. They like that matchup. And 2 plays in a row, Rex Grossman has gone under center to throw this quick slant. They want to get it out of his hands quickly, so he goes under center, and he makes the quick throw to Jacobs for the first down. Nice little adjustment by Rex Grossman, getting rid of that ball quicker by going under center and not in the shotgun.
And of course, regardless of the outcome of this drive, that'll buy them a couple of minutes on the clock.
That's right. And the clock is their ally right now. No question about it.
Here comes a reverse. Vernell Brown, number 16. He's got a man in front. They get a block. Max Starks. And Vernell Brown, the freshman wide receiver, down at the 20-yard line after a 12-yard gain.
This is a nice cut by Vernell Brown because Mondre Dickerson is going to be in position to make the play right here. And Grossman's going to try to block him, but he doesn't need to because Vernell Brown cut right inside of him. Now, Dickerson is not 100% healthy. He didn't look good running after that play. A nice play call by Ed Zonbrecker and another first down for the Gators.
Ball is spotted at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10. Clock under 12.
And you mentioned it. I mean, keep your aggressiveness as an offense, but let that clock be your friend, too.
Snap back. They'll keep it on the ground. Halfback pass. Graham. Carlos Perez in the end zone. Diving try incomplete. And Jabari Greer had a fine piece of defensive work on that play.
He sure did. I mean, you know, we've seen both defenses be in the right position against some trick plays. It's a halfback pass, but it's man-to-man coverage. That means Jabari Greer doesn't have to worry about what happens in the backfield. He's only responsible for that wide receiver, and he never leaves his side.
2nd and 10. Volunteers again with the 3 men down. They're going to bring 5. They stunt. Grossman spins, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
That was a quarterback draw. I mean, that was a design play with a quarterback that's got a little bit of a bum knee, and Demetrin Veal inside on the tackle position, able to make the stop.
Third down. The need is 10. The time is 11:13 and counting down. And the margin of difference is 11 points.
Perez is out of the ball game. This is a power set. I mean, this might be play action pass and keeping all 8 guys in to block.
It is play action. Grossman comes to the right side. Jacobs is wide open. Touchdown.
They needed a big play, and they needed to assure protection. So what they did was they went play action, and they kept 8 people in to block, and they ran a 2-man route. Here's Jacobs running the corner route. I mean, this is a Florida mainstay, the corner routes, and 4 coverage by Tennessee. And they were really out of position on that play, and an easy throw for Rex Grossman. But the key was they got great protection with the 8 men.
Bobbled snap on the extra point attempt. Sean Morton is taken down. So both, and that's picked up. Willie Miles has it, but he is tackled at the 32-yard line. So bad extra point efforts for both ball clubs now.
They have a flag down in the end zone. I'm not sure what the penalty is, but yeah, that was pretty ugly. Not that touchdown pass, though. That was nice. And, you know, in the beginning of the show, we showed a breakdown with 8 men protecting and giving up a pressure and a sack.
Illegal participation again. So they'll have a chance to do it again. Well, after that touchdown toss, what do you suppose Spurrier's saying?
I'm not going there again.
I can only lead you down that path once.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm not going there again.
Oh, dear. Leach with another chance. Morton is the holder. Casey Griffin is the snapper. This one's good. Well, trouble on the hold.
And this is
Dudley.
An exercise in futility right now. I mean, that's about the 3rd missed extra point that Florida has had this season. It's, you know, it's 3 guys involved, a snapper, a holder, and a kicker, and looks a little bit like Larry, Curly, and Moe right there.
Here's the kickoff by Petrovich of Florida, and Larkins gathers it in at the 5-yard line. Gets to his right, back to his left, got some room, spins down at the 38-yard line. Just about. And let's take a look at Matt Petrovich. He's an interesting guy on the football field. He kicks off and leads the team in kickoff tackles this year.
Well, and he was a nose guard in high school, so you know he's got a little toughness about him. He's from Chicago, Illinois, Mount Carmel High School, good football program, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there.
Had 8 unassisted tackles on kickoffs last year and had 5 total tackles coming in the first 3 games this year. Matt Petrovich. First down and 10, Tennessee trailing 30-13. In the backfield. Handoff goes to Troy Fleming, number 11. And let's go back and take a look at this Grossman-Jacobs touchdown.
Well, I want to show you 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a tight end, and both backs they keep in for protection. They needed to assure that they were going to protect Rex Grossman, so they've got 8 guys blocking 4. They communicate well, they keep them all out, and he finds Taylor Jacobs. That was a good call by Ed Zonbrecker, going with the maximum protection to make the big throw.
And the 3rd touchdown toss of the day, equaling his season numbers for Rex Grossman. Here's Clausen. Back was covered. Clausen goes back across the middle. Here is Kelly Washington. Foot race out of bounds.
He's laboring a little bit too. I mean, that didn't look like the Kelly Washington that we saw last year. Not only not running as fast, but also running out of bounds and not trying to run over the guy at the end of the play. This was a great play by Casey Clausen because they were trying to throw the quick screen out to the other side. Washington was an outlet receiver, and he dumps it to him late. Nice heads-up play by Casey.
Kelly Washington missed the first 2 games with a knee sprain. He's got 6 for 87 yards now in this one. 64 catches for over 1,000 yards last year.
I just don't understand why Tennessee didn't open up their offense earlier in the ball game like this.
Screen pass incomplete.
I mean, I know it was raining, and I know that it's a little bit tougher, but you know, Florida decided when they came in this game they were going to put guys in the box to stop the run, and they were going to give up some stuff and make Casey beat him throwing. And Tennessee didn't challenge him throwing the football after their opening drive, but they are now, and they've got a lot of pressure on the Florida defense with their passing game right now.
Flag is down. Jacobs with 8 for 134. Washington 6 for 87, his first appearance of the year, and Jacobs' most effective outing since the first game to win over University of Alabama Birmingham.
You know what I've seen from Taylor Jacobs today too is that he's a tough kid, because he's gotten hit on a couple of those quick slants, some tough throws that he's had to hang on to the football.
And it'll be 1st and 15.
2-deep look again by the Florida defense. They want to just try to not give up the big play, try to defend the run with 6 people in the box right now.
There's Clausen. Screen pass. Derek Tinsley, nice spin move. Keeps his balance. Down at the 13-yard line. Gus Scott with the tackle. And another update. Let's go back to New York. Once again, here's Tim Brando.
All right, Vern, Colorado, the Twilight Zone team of the Big 12. Chris Brown, an 8-yard run. This culminates a 9-play, 82-yard drive. 31-10 over UCLA in the 4th. A tough day for Bob Toledo's team. Vern?
It sure is, and that's a team that was defeated by USC 40-3 at home in Boulder last week. 30-13 here, Florida on the road. And Clausen hands it off to Tinsley. Tests the middle down to the 10. That'll leave a 3rd and 3, maybe 2.5.
Tennessee still is working against the clock here. We're just getting ready to go under 9 minutes in the football game, and so they've got to keep their tempo going. They did a nice job of that in the 3rd quarter, but they may be a little fatigued right now, but they've got to keep an up tempo because they've got some catching up to do here. Down by 17.
3rd and 3. And the clock still runs. Three down for the Gators. Here comes the blitz. Clausen has protection into the end zone for Washington. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Robert Cromartie. Kelly Washington is limping a little bit.
He doesn't look the same. I mean, and again, part of it is that he's probably not 100%. The other part is that he hasn't practiced much, so he's probably dog tired because he just hasn't, you know, as good of an athlete as he is, it's hard to come out and play when you haven't been able to practice. And he really didn't start doing much until this week.
4th and 3. Flag. Now the play clock shows 7 seconds left.
Well, Tennessee has really hurt themselves. Really hurt themselves. They were flagged for 17 penalties in their first 2 ball games, and just some critical mistakes in this football game. Turnovers, careless with the football, some penalties, wasting timeouts. You see 11 penalties today on Tennessee.
And they will still go for it. Now 4th and 8.
Now they've got to score 3 times. So, I mean, they need 2 touchdowns and a field goal anyway at this point.
Washington breaks wide right. Brown, Witten, and Montrell Jones to the left.
Kelly's got single up here. Here's inside technique.
Here's Clausen. Delivers it to Witten. Incomplete in the end zone. Montrell Jones it was. And the ball goes over on downs.
Well, credit John Thompson's defense. They were much maligned after the Miami game. They have come to play today. Bobby McCray with the hit on Clausen, and they keep the balls out of the end zone.
Florida has the ball in a 17-point lead with 8:34 to go in a relatively quiet Neyland Stadium. Here's Ernest Graham heading left and down at the 21-yard line. Now today's Home Depot Scholar Athlete is Will Offenhuzel of Tennessee. Got his degree in logistics and transportation. He is only 9 hours short of a second degree, that in marketing. Said yesterday he is prouder of getting his degree than he is of the fact that he's one of the tri-captains of this Tennessee ball club. Will Offenhuzel out of Martin, Tennessee. 2nd down. Here's the handoff to Graham. He's got a lot of room. Tries to stay in bounds and does.
Nice job by Ernest. Get everything you can, but stay in bounds. And what a display. Now if this holds up as it's going right now.
Reality series is still the best with new conflicts and new challenges. Don't miss All New Survivor, CBS Thursday.
Florida has the ball in a 17-point lead with 8:34 to go in a relatively quiet Neyland Stadium. Here's Ernest Graham heading left and down at the 21-yard line. Now today's Home Depot Scholar Athlete is Will Offenhuzel of Tennessee. Got his degree in logistics and transportation. He is only 9 hours short of a second degree, that in marketing. Said yesterday he is prouder of getting his degree than he is of the fact that he's one of the tri-captains of this Tennessee ball club. Will Offenhuzel out of Martin, Tennessee. 2nd down. Here's the handoff to Graham. He's got a lot of room. Tries to stay in bounds and does.
Nice job by Ernest. Get everything you can, but stay in bounds. And what a display. Now if this holds up as it's going right now, it begs one major question: how good is Miami?
Oh boy.
Tennessee will find out firsthand in November when the Hurricanes come in here, but
and some of the potential luster of that game has been erased by today. 1st down and 10. Grossman. Work on the clock again. Here's Graham. Well, this game turned in a 4-minute and 20-second section of the second quarter. 21 unanswered for Florida. Let's go back to New York once again. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Vern, let's take a look now at our Kinko's top performance of the day. T.A. McClendon, what a performance. 34 carries, 160 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns to tie a school record, including the game winner in overtime, 51-48, Wolfpack over Texas Tech. Vern?
Everybody talks about these quarterbacks, Rex Grossman, Casey Clausen. There's a lot of good ones. I mean, Phillip Rivers at North Carolina State's a heck of a player. Seneca Wallace at Iowa State, heck of a player. A lot of good quarterbacks in college football.
Here's Grossman, sliding catch made by Taylor Jacobs, and he stays in bounds. And so the clock will continue to run.
You know, people kind of, I think, were really questioning Ron Zook this week when he was coming out after the Ohio game saying, you know, in the second half, I saw progress, I saw improvement, we're getting better, we're making improvement, and people were looking at him like, you know, he must be crazy. We weren't watching the same game you were watching, but this is a much different football team today than the one we saw against Miami a couple weeks ago. They are a much sounder football team. The offensive line, I think, played tremendously better today. I mean, yeah, Grossman still got pressured, but they protected him better, and they did a much better job against the run on defense. And those were the two areas that they really had to improve, and they did it today.
Now Rex Grossman wanders over to Rogers Redding and says, let's talk about this for a couple minutes. We'll take a timeout. Last 4 games between these two teams have been decided by no more than 4 points. This one will break that trend. And Will Openhuzel, the Tennessee Volunteers, cannot believe what happened here. Here's Grossman going deeper. O.J. Small, he has got it. Well, there's a Steve Spurrier moment. My.
That was a great call there, Zucker. 3rd and 1. Everybody up, expecting run, and a perfect play action pass from Grossman to Small. I mean, this isn't rubbing it in. I mean, this is just getting the first down and securing victory and getting yourself in position again. Boy.
And
nice
Rex Grossman has gone over 300 yards for the 2nd time this season. Here's Graham, tries to get out of bounds and, or rather tries to stay in bounds and does. Well, the keys to victory in this game. The team that has rushed for more yards has posted 11 wins in the last 12 games. About to make that 12-1. And fewer turnovers. And look at this. Florida has rushed for 96 yards, and they have held Tennessee to 73. That is.
And this is a rush defense coming in that was giving up over 200 yards a game. They were last in the SEC in run defense, and they hold Tennessee to 73 and only an average of 2.6 per carry.
Grossman in the corner for Jacobs. Intercepted.
Yeah, nice play by Miles.
Sure was. Willie Miles picked it off.
They picked on him all day, and he gets the last pick. And they have gone after Willie Miles 9 times, and on the 9th try, Willie comes up with the play. Slightly overthrown, and Miles turned into a receiver and tracked it down. That's a nice play by the senior out of Fort Worth Dunbar High School.
Willie Miles sat out all of last season and has come back for his 5th year. Now Tennessee will try and get something accomplished with 4 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Awesome. Jason Witten.
All Florida's going to do now is drop 8, rush 3, and just make everything be thrown underneath.
2nd down and 2. Now we alluded to the fact that this thing turned on a 21-point explosion in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Late in the 2nd quarter, and then there was a field goal tacked on, and that one is incomplete. That put the Gators up 24-0 at the half. Tennessee came back, scored on its first 2 possessions of the 2nd half to make it 24-13, but then another Florida touchdown. Grossman to Jacobs, and we're sitting at 30-13.
You know, last year when Tennessee went down to Gainesville and won, I mean, we were there. I mean, it was a tremendous football game. That was very impressive what Tennessee did. This is impressive what Florida's doing. I mean, with their backs against the wall, everybody kind of writing them off in the SEC and in college football, and for them to come in here and put this kind of a performance up against the 4th-ranked team in the country, that's impressive. It really is. I mean, Ron Zook in his first year, not many coaches in their first year have to play 2 teams ranked in the top 5 in their first 4 football games, but that's what he's had to do this year, and they look to be coming out of it at 3-1, which is pretty good.
And there are few tasks more formidable than following a coaching legend. Very tough to do. And Ron Zook goes in to a program where he once served for Steve Spurrier as a defensive coordinator, then special teams coach as he was demoted, then back to defensive coordinator for a short time before he decided to go to the NFL. And he has been the subject of really intense criticism in Florida the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, really intense.
Well, the expectations are pretty high. I was talking to him before the game. You see the completion to Kelly Washington. And he said he's got a friend of his here from Ohio that's a huge Ohio State fan. And he said to him, you know, remember Jim Tressel lost 5 games in his first year. And he said, hey, I got no chance if I lose 5 games. I mean, it's a little different deal down in Gainesville following a guy like Steve Spurrier.
First down and 10. Here's Clausen across the middle, caught by Tony Brown. He gets to the 46-yard line. Well, few first-year coaches have defeated Phil Fulmer in their first drive. Nick Saban did it at LSU. Mark Richt at Georgia. Jackie Sherrill a few years back at Mississippi State. Ron Zook is about to make that a foursome.
You know who I feel really sorry for?
That one, Clint Mitchell tips right into the hands of the receiver.
Greg Schiano, because Rutgers comes in here to play Tennessee next week.
Ouch.
It won't be pretty.
Now Rex Grossman, you know, you look back at this, he was 4 for 13. His 4 of it his first 13. His body language was very similar to what we saw in Miami and Ohio. And then all of a sudden, 2 plays I remember. He had a 19-yard run for a first down.
Got up, you know, signaling and excited and getting the crowd in.
And that was followed by a 21-yard pass to Ernest Graham. And all of a sudden, things began to seem to turn around for Rex Grossman. Here's Casey Clausen running again. And down at the 34-yard line.
I think I'm really happy for Rex. I mean, I was happy that he came back and stayed in Florida, and I'm sure there's been some nights he's probably sat up here in the first month of the season and said, man, what did I do? You know, did I make the bad decision or not? And for him to come in here and get it going and beat Tennessee on the road, well, I'll tell you, those are memories he'll never forget.
Here's Clausen looking deep. Has to go to his right. And lets it go as he is forced out of bounds. Now let's take a quick look at our Fidelity Investment scoring recap. This one started early with Ernest Graham leaning for a touchdown. Then Carlos Pereira has caught a 28-yard TD pass. Taylor Jacobs, the first of his 2. That made it 21-0. Matt Leach with a field goal after a fumble recovery by Clint Mitchell. Made it 24-0. Then Tinsley for 15 yards for Tennessee there on the boards. They get another, miss the extra point, and the final touchdown was this Taylor Jacobs catch to make it 30-13. That's where we stand with 1:42 to go.
I still get back to the Florida's ability to defend Tennessee's run today is outstanding. 73 yards rushing.
There's Mike Nattiel putting Casey Clausen on his back, and the pass falls incomplete. 98 seconds to go here. Let's go back once again to Tim Brando in New York.
History, folks, in tradition, Vern. Michigan State's Jeff Smoker did it to Herb Haygood in the closing seconds in 2000. This time it's Charles Rogers. 21 yards. He did get the foot in. 17-14 Spartans. Notre Dame with the ball inside their own 30 with a minute and a half remaining. Back to you, Vern.
Are we sure he got his foot in?
Wow.
Are we sure? Here's Clausen. And the catch is made by Jomo Fagan, a redshirt freshman, number 84. Well, guess where we're headed, boys? Where are the boys? Kentucky at Florida next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern time. We do know our way down there.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the game for this reason. Again, we talk about quarterbacks this year. That kid at Kentucky, Jared Lorenzen, close to 300 pounds, moves his feet. He's an athletic kid. He's playing great football again this year as the starting quarterback. Kentucky undefeated.
Kentucky comes in 4-0. The Gators will be 3-1 and will be at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium next Saturday afternoon. Well, and a record remains intact. Tennessee has not defeated Florida in back-to-back years since 1970 and 71. Phil Fulmer was an offensive guard on that team. I think he is shaken by what he's seen today.
Well, you know, it's tough to win against anybody, but particularly a good football team when you make the kind of mistakes Tennessee made. 3 fumbles, 11 penalties, close to 20 missed tackles, you know, just too many breakdowns. And again, they're coming off the bye week. Yeah, they hadn't been tested or played good teams those first 2 weeks, but they had that extra week of practice, and I'm sure Philip Fulmer is really surprised that they had those kind of breakdowns from an execution standpoint in a game like this.
At the 13-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Here's Clausen. And he's going to be taken down by the Gators' Marcus Akendo Johnson. Now, Georgia 1-0 in conference play, undefeated overall. Big win over Northwestern State today. Florida wins this key SEC East encounter. 3-1 for the season. Tennessee drops its first. And South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Kentucky yet to play a conference game. They'll do that next Saturday.
The only thing that I would say negative for Florida in this, and I don't think any of them are serious, but we've seen, you know, Rex Grossman bang up his knee a little bit. Ernest Graham with a little bit something. Rand Carthen was in and out of the locker room. Clint Mitchell was on the sideline getting his knee looked at here a little bit ago. So there'll be some aches and pains they'll have to work through before Kentucky next week. But what a performance by Florida. It's impressive. It really is. They had everything going against them coming into this game. You know, sometimes to go on the road and play, John Thompson, he's got to be thrilled. Sometimes when you go on the road and play, it's a good thing when there's a lot of criticism flying around, because you get away from the newspapers, you get away from the radio, you get away from kids in class asking you, what's the matter? You get on the plane, you go, it's a business trip, you just circle the wagons and go up and take care of business, and that's what the Florida Gators did today.
33 seconds to go. 3rd and 10, Tennessee at the 13-yard line. Clausen dumps it over the middle. Kelly Washington. No, it's C.J. Phaeton, 17 instead of 15. And timeout taken by the Volunteers.
Well, Tennessee wants to score again here. I mean, obviously they know they're not going to win the football game, but in their minds, 30-20 down the road in November will look a whole lot better than 30-13 will.
Now you're talking BCS standings. Yeah. Although, as we have heard over and over and over, margin of victory doesn't mean anything.
Well, margin of defeat maybe does.
Yeah, there you are. 4th down and 24 seconds to go. (30-13) Gators. And time now to salute our Army player of the game. Came back strong this afternoon, the quarterback of the Florida Gators, the U.S. Army player of the game, 20 of 34. And parenthetically, just a reminder that he started 4 of 13 and out of sync. But he found it all in the second quarter. 324 yards, touchdowns.
And I think it's safe to say that he is back in the Heisman picture too. Not that he was ever out of it, but a game like this, a gutty performance in a place like this, I think puts him right back in the middle of things.
Clausen from the corner, the rush comes, he throws it off balance, and it is incomplete. It'll go over on downs.
Last year, Tennessee beat Arkansas and only scored 13 points. And they John Thompson was the Arkansas defensive coordinator. This year, Florida beats them 30-13, and John Thompson is the Florida defensive coordinator. A nice performance with his schemes against this Tennessee offense.
Well, look at this. You think the swagger's not back?
I think it might be back.
Florida Gators come into Neyland Stadium, and they put one on Tennessee. 21 points in a 4-minute and 20-second time span in the second quarter. Grossman led the way. Philip Fulmer said to Jill Arrington at the half, it's the worst exhibition